Relive Season 1 of NASMARB as you get ready for all new action. Season 2 premieres July 27th. The wait is finally over. Marbles are strapped into their cars and ready to hit the track. NASMARB Season 1 begins now. Hello race fans and welcome! I'm Ricochet live here from Spiral Speedway, and this is the Spiral 360 qualifying session right here on MSPN. As we begin the first season of NASMARB qualifying is going to be a test of both speed and consistency, as each driver is going to get 2 laps, one from the inside line and then one from the outside line. These 2 times will then be averaged to create the official qualifying time, and from there the marbles are going to be seeded from 1 to 20, which will set us for this Friday's race. The bottom 2 times will not qualify for the race and are going to receive just 2 points towards the championship standings. And we are now going to have a look at our qualifying lineup. We're going to set this just by numerical order. So you see the number 2, Sal, Lemon Drizel, and the number 3, Murakami, Prime, Quillo, Neptune, Jack Tato in the number 12, the 13 of Winx, the 16 of Nugget, and the 17 of Confetti. And in the bottom half of the qualifying lineup will be the number 24 of Jeff Marbin, Spitzer in the 25, Streamer, Earl, Woodpecker, Oak in the 48, Mozilla, Bloodstorm, Steve drives the number 89, and Electro in the number 93, as we will begin our qualifying session with Sal, the driver of the number 2 for Akanon Auto Racing. Akanon's marble competitions is on the hood. And we will go from the inside line first. First turn through and a little sideways towards the end. Coming across the line at a time of 3.75 for Sal. Have a look at the replay there coming off of this last turn. Ooh, a little sideways. Stays forward though. And Sal puts in a 3.75. We're going to go all inside lines first. So that'll bring up Lemon Drizel in the number 3. Dave's Motors Machine for Red Pandas Racing. Drizel gets very sideways through that first turn, but straightens it out and runs a time of 3.64, a little better than a tenth of a second over Sal there, taking over the pole position currently. Red Pandas Racing is one of 3 teams that is going to feature more than one driver. Here's another one, that's Bladestar Motorsports. Murakami, the first of their drivers to go, in the number 4 for Flare, the blue paint scheme for the Flare car. This looks like a better time. And a little bit of a mistake there coming out. Looked like it was a pretty smooth run for Murakami, but very sideways. Had to hold on to that car. Looked like it was very loose at the end. And a time of 3.72 will settle into second. That'll bring up Prime in the number 8. Magic 8-ball machine for Crazy 8 Motorsports. Look at the speed from that car. And it is significantly faster from the inside line than the others. Got way up there. And Prime runs a 3.37. Impressive time. A little wild, but it worked out. One of our ones to watch there from this qualifying session. Prime is fast, as is Quillo in the number 9. Quillo driving for the Marble Sports Worldwide Podcast, gets very loose and comes across, seemed to be slow. And it was a significantly slower move there. 4:11 is the time for the number 9 for the Marble Sports Worldwide team. And the MSWP on the hood of that machine, but a disappointing time so far from the inside line. Will move us up to the number 11, Neptune driving for Deny Sense Vehicles in the ASE machine. This time, looks like it's, whoa, wipeout at the end. Looked like a pretty good time, and it'll come across the line of 3.53, good enough for second. But watch at the end of this turn, and right here, got very wild at the end, came across the line somewhat sideways, but a strong run nonetheless. And Jack Tato, the driver of the number 12 for Unified Racing, with Unified on the hood. Looks like another strong time. Looked like he kept it pretty straight for the most part. And Jack Tato will end up in a tie with Lemon Drizel at 3.64. That's tied for third right now. We'll move us to Winks, another member of Bladestar Motorsports. This is the orange version of the flare scheme. And another one to watch, but not an impressive run that time. Middle of the road there, it looked like. And in fact, it was the slowest time. Got into the wall there towards the end. And a 4.43 for Winks. 0.3 of a second slower than anybody else. As Nugget in the number 16, one of our fan favorites. Have a look on the side of that machine for some of the leaders in Marble Sports, as that one gets very loose for the number 16. A time of under 4 seconds for Nugget, driving for Neurospecs Engineering for Nugget's Diner. And Nugget with a middle-of-the-pack run right now. Here's Confetti in the number 17 for Crimson Cruisers Racing. Alabama, the Alabama Crimson Tide on the hood. Whoa, wild! Spinning backwards across the line comes the number 17. And a time of 3.8, just spinning all over the place. A wild ride, that time for Confetti. Here is Jeff Marbin now. In this very fast-paced style, Marbin in the number 24 for Hendril Motorsports and Dumarb on the hood. Slows himself down there. Not necessarily what you want to do. As we'll have another look at the replay. And you watch coming out of the final turn, sideways into the wall. Slowed down the time for Marbin, 3.91, the official time. That'll bring up Spitzer in the number 25, driving for Woff's Bowling Alley for Woff's Motorsports. And that looked like a pretty nice time. Spitzer runs a time by 1/100th of a second faster than Neptune to take over second place so far in the qualifying standings, and a very smooth run that time for the 25. Here is Streamer. Streamer was one of our ones to watch from this second grouping in the OB Racing Machine, OB Graphics on the hood for the 26. This looks like a good time as well. Hard into the wall, though, toward the end. And it will end up as a middle-of-the-pack time for Streamer. 3.77 is that time. Right there, hard into the wall, and almost went back into the other inside wall there. So that's that. Here is Earl now for Red Pandas Racing in the Dave's Ukulele Emporium machine. Oh, spinning backwards across the line. And the time is going to be a rather impressive 3.72. Right here, things got wild out of the final turn. Came across the line. Back wheels first. Middle of the pack that time. Here is Woodpecker also driving for Red Pandas Racing. This is the final of their cars in the Dave's Motors machine, number 43. Smooth so far. Gets into the wall and slows it down a little bit. And Woodpecker going to drop with a tie to Jeff Marbin at 3.91. Two marbles so far have driven their cars to times of more than 4 seconds. Not what you want to see. Here is Oak in the number 48 for FFA Racing. This is the ML Facts and Marbles for Autism machine, who gets loose and cannot complete the lap. And the 48 could not get out of the final turn. So it'll be a DNF, and it's a great time to tell you exactly what's going to happen if you have a DNF. If that happens, then you will have the slowest time from this lane will then be multiplied by 1.5, and that'll end up being the time for a DNF. So the 48 will have to wait and see who the slowest time is. Right now it's Winks. Here is Mozilla, and a smooth run for that 66 car. For Orange Racing, Sachamas is on the hood of that car. And it was a middle-of-the-line run there for the 66, 375. 3 more to go. Here's Bloodstorm in the 86. Last driver for Bladestar Motorsports in the red flare car. Looks like there's some speed in that machine. Spins, goes backwards across the line. And the time will end up being a 4:01. Boy, it was strong to begin with, but the wipeout there caused some issues. Next up is Steve, driving for Malbao Racing. Malbao is also on the hood of this car. This is a fan favorite. Steve the wheelman. Oh, he got his wheels up on the side of the racetrack. Not what you want to do. Or at least it seemed that way, as though the wheels got caught on the top of the track. Riding 2 on the track, 2 on the wall. And it's a 3:97 time. And that'll bring up our final racer. That is Electro in the number 93 for OB Racing. Texas Rollhouse is on the hood of this machine. Smooth run, flips, and finishes as he goes onto the hood and back onto the wheels. Not an impressive time, but an impressive job by Electro just to finish this course. 4:91 is the time, and boy, it really, really hurt Oak, who did not finish. So that time will have to be multiplied. It added an extra half a second on. And wow, look at the flips. Up and over and back onto the wheels. And so there are the inside line runs. Prime takes the pole position from that side, a 3:37. Spitzer in second. Neptune takes third, all the way back to Oak, who cannot finish. Running the outside line that time, and that is a 3:64, which will equal out to a 3:7 average time. So 3.70 is the official time for Sal's qualifying run. Obviously, that's good enough for the lead right now. First driver to go through. Here is the number 3, Lemon Drizel, trying to improve on the time. Good time. And it looked like a faster time that time, and it is. 3:58 for Lemon Drizel. It'll average out to a 3:61 and the pole position momentarily. See a smooth run there for the number 3. Here is the 4. And Murakami runs a 4:11, and you can see, yep, spin out of the first turn there. And the spinning just kept on going until it gets down to that final stretch of track. 3:92 is the average time. Last place right now for Murakami. Here's Prime. Prime spins, gets forward, but has issues in that number 8. However, despite it being a 3:8, the average time still good enough to currently be the pole sitter. That is a 3:59 average. Here is Quillo in the number 9. Quillo spins, struggling to get across the line, does, but with a time of 5:13, it's an average time of 4:62. It'll put Quillo in the bottom right now, and by 0.7 of a second, a pretty significant margin right now. And that'll bring up Neptune. Neptune trying to lock themselves in. Ooh, that looked like a fast run for the number 11, a 3:67. It'll average out the time to be 3.60. That's good enough for second. Right now, Murakami is also in a spot where they're in danger of not transferring. However, the number 12 is going to get across the line. Jack Tato having to work that wheel to get across, but a very disappointing 5:75. It'll equal out to being the slowest average time, coming very nearly to a complete stop there before going across the line backwards. 4:7 is the time, and that'll lock Murakami into the field. Here is Winks in the number 13. or excuse me, Nugget. Nope, that is right. Yeah, that's Winks in the 13. Runs a 3-1. Wow, that's an incredibly fast time. Wow. An impressive, smooth, and very speedy time for Winks. Locking them into the field. Now here is Nugget in the number 16. And across the line, Nugget puts up a time of 3:93, which was the same time they ran from the other line. As you can see, a little wild there, but good enough to get across the line and just barely lock themselves into the show. Here is the Alabama car. Number 17 for Confetti. Spins, gets across the line. And that time is 4:42, but with a good first time, it still allows Confetti to be locked into the field right now, the last one in. Ooh, yeah, got really sideways there and had to hold on for dear life. Here's Jeff Marbin. Marbin ran a 3:91 from the inside. Here from the outside, looks faster, and it is a 3:61 for Jeff Marbin. Overall, that will move him into 5th place at a 3:76 average. It's still Quillo in the 9 and Jack Tato in the 12, in danger of not making the field. Here's Spitzer in the 25. That looked like a good time. And Spitzer will jump to the top of the board, taking out Prime in the Magic 8-Ball machine. Spitzer runs a 3:41 for an average of 3:47 and the lead. Here's the OB Graphics car, number 26 for Streamer. And Streamer runs a 4:22 for an average time of 4 seconds. Really struggling with the handling of that car through the first couple turns there, and even towards the end, bouncing off the wall left and right. But still in the field. That brings up Earl now in the 33, and Earl will come across the line slow. Ran a 3:72. That's a 4:54. That is the slowest time in the field that's locked in right now. However, it still locks you in. If you can maybe figure out the handling of the car a little bit, it'll allow you to still have a chance. Quillo and Jack Tato starting to get a little more nervous. Here's the 43 of Woodpecker. Woodpecker gets sideways. Will Woodpecker finish? The answer is yes. It's hard not to finish this course. You can build up that momentum if you get sideways. However, that time of 5:36 is 200ths of a second too slow in terms of the average speed, and that will drop Woodpecker below the cut line. Quillo in the number 9 for the MSWP is in the field now. Woodpecker in trouble, and here is the 48 of Oak, who did not finish the first lap. Will finish this one at a time of 3:58. However, it is not going to be enough. Significantly slower, as Oak will average out to a time of 5.48 after that DNF and the 1.5 time penalty of the slowest speed. Here's the 66 for Mozilla now. Mozilla spins, will go across the line backwards. And Mozilla, the time of 4:01, slides in behind Winks and ahead of Murakami. Jack Tato still in trouble. And Oak, right now, really in a lot of trouble in that 48 machine. And whoa, looked like somebody got sideways. The 86 of Bloodstorm. Can he finish? There's no way. Let's have another look at that one. Looked like a giant wipeout here. Off the course and back on. Wow. Right there, somehow manages to come back on the course and get to the other turn. That's a DNF, though. And Bloodstorm has the slowest time. Malbow going across the line backwards is Steve. And Steve is locked into the field, and it'll come down to Electro or Oak. Basically, Electro just has to finish this race. There's no chance that Oak will be able to get in the field without that. It'll come down to Electro, though. We know Bloodstorm won't make the field. Electro will, coming across the line. And the time is 3:93. Electro jumps up a few spots into 15th in the qualifying, and that will knock out the number 48 Oak for FFA Racing. ML Facts and Marbles for Autism is out. As is Bloodstorm, as you see the look at the seeds. Spitzer takes the 1 seed. Prime will be number 2. Neptune number 3. Lemon Drizel takes the 4 seed. The 5 seed is Sal. And Jeff Marbin in the number 24 takes seed number 6. As you see their times inside and outside lanes. Good runs for them. And we will have some points to add, as each of the fastest times are going to get a point. For the inside line, that is Prime, who ran a 3:37, gains a championship point. The outside line is Winks, ran a 3:1, which is also the overall fastest time. That's a track record right there, and by a pretty significant margin. 1 championship point there. And then the overall pole sitter is Spitzer, and Spitzer's going to get 3 championship points. Failing to qualify, Oak, who runs a 7:37, excuse me, with the DNF on the inside, a 3:58 on the outside. Bloodstorm had a pretty slow inside line anyway at a 4.01 and an 8.63 outside line after their DNF, and a wild wreck for Bloodstorm. We hope the 86 is okay. And now this will give you the groupings for our race on Friday. It'll be Spitzer, Murakami, and Jack Tato in Group 1. Group 2 is Prime, Steve, and Woodpecker. Group 3 will be Neptune, Mozilla, and Quillo. Lemon Drizel, Nugget, and Electro in Group 4. Sal, Streamer, and Earl in Group 5. And then Jeff Marbin, Winks, and Confetti will be in Group 6. As the qualifying is set, should be an interesting tournament style for our initial race here of NASMARB, the groundbreaking new series from MSPN that is breaking barriers down and hopefully providing some great entertainment. So the lineup now set for the first ever NASMARB race. Until next time, we thank you for watching. I'm Ricochet, and this has been MSPN's coverage of NASMARB. And now, for the most famous words in Marble Sports, please welcome today's Grand Marshal, patron and co-host of the Marble Sports Worldwide podcast, Commander Woff.
Race fans, are you ready? Marbles, start your engines!
Live from Spiral Speedway, this is the Spiral 360 on MSPN. Hello everyone, I'm Ricochet. Glad to be here for the first race in NASMARB history. We're going to begin with the group stage. As you see on your screen there, this is how the groups stack up for this race. Each group will have 2 heats, and the winner of each heat will advance into our final 12. As you see, 3 marbles in each of these groups, which means 1 will not survive to the next round, as we get ready for what should be a very interesting and a hopefully very exciting first race in NASMARB history. And you have marbles from many different teams being represented, a few different teammates. You've got 2 teams from Bladestar Motorsports who are here, Murakami in the number 4, who is in Group 1, and then Winks in the 13, which will be in our last group. We'll start with Group 1. It'll be Spitzer, Murakami, and Jack Tato. Our first stage, there you go, the number 12, the number 4, and the 25. They are off, and it looks like a tight race is going to result in a win there for Spitzer in the 25. And you have a look at the replay here. It looked like Murakami there got a little bit sideways. Go again from the inside line there. Here is Flare. The flare on the hood, I should say, of this car. Murakami going to get an easy win over Jack Tato. So Jack Tato, who had the last qualifying time, the 18 seed overall, will be out of this competition as the number 4 car made contact there going into that first turn. And really a hard time getting straight again and going forwards for Jack Tato out of this competition. And we'll have to rely on speed to see where they will place. Prime, Steve, and Woodpecker here. Steve goes from the inside line, and it looks like he's taken out, and it's going to be an easy win as Steve will come across the line second. It's an easy win, though, for Prime in the number 8. We'll have a look at this replay, and it looked like there was some contact there early between the 43 and the 89, turning Steve, who was able to still stay in front of Woodpecker. Now those two will go side by side, and for the final spot out of this grouping, across the line backwards it appeared for the number 8. Woodpecker and Steve making more contact. This one's going to be closer. It is Steve who will hold the win and the lead from start to finish on that side-by-side race, 1 versus 1. And it's Steve in the 89 who looked like they initiated the contact there in the Malbow machine. 43, well, really loose off that last corner. Had a hard time, again, going straight, and they are eliminated. Group 3 will be Neptune versus Mozilla and Quillo. Lots of contact, and whoa! Quillo being knocked around, and it's going to come across the line first. How about that? Quillo in the number 9 for MSWP in the Marble Sports Worldwide team is going to advance here after a ton of contact between really all 3 marbles. Let's have a look. It was Mozilla out to the lead, then contact with the 11. All of a sudden, they were both pushing the number 9, and it looked like, oh, look at there. The number 11 goes across and upside down, and then backwards across the line is Quillo. So Neptune will have to try to finish this course driving for ASE. Side by side, it is going to be a spinner. And Mozilla is going to advance as a disappointing run there for the number 11 of Neptune, having a hard time on both runs. They look like they were pretty tight there. And then coming into this last turn, and again, really sideways, ultimately spinning across the line. And it's the 66 of Mozilla that will advance. Now in Group 4, we get Lemon Drizel, Nugget, and Electro. And Drizel has problems right off the start. It's going to be between Electro and... Ooh, look at that, a close finish for second and third, but it's Electro for OB Racing and Texas Rollhouse that advances in that first matchup. As Nugget nearly may have actually gotten past for second place. Drizel looked like they had some speed there. And you can see some blocking from the 93 to ensure a win, and here we go. And Drizel in some trouble. Here goes the 16. Nugget going to be pushed across the line. And the contact there forces Lemon Drizel out of this competition. Let's have a look at the replay. And you can see on that uptight camera the wheelmanship of both of these marbles. Really sideways coming across the line, and a smart decision on which line to try to block by Nugget ends up getting them the win. Drizel had more speed, but couldn't get it done. Sal, Earl, and Streamer now. The 2, 26, and 33. And whoa, off the course goes Earl, and now the 2 and the 26, Sal and Streamer. Can Sal get across the line? Trying to keep the wheels moving. Ooh. No, the answer is going to be no, as Sal finally comes to a stop. They'll have to re-rack and go again. As you can see, it was a lead for Earl. Earl gets thrown off the course. Big contact there, and a hard impact for the 33 car. And then Streamer unable to get... Oh, wow. Unable to get out of the way of Sal, who just came crawling to a stop. And then you can see where that final portion of the course happened. There is Earl, hopefully okay. They'll go again. Earl with the lead this time, and the win in a close one. Earl's going to beat out, I believe that was Streamer who finished second and was coming in a hurry. They were 3 wide into that first turn. Earl took a pretty good-sized lead. And, oh yeah, close one, but Streamer unable to find the right lane fast enough. And there is another look at the finish, as all 3 finished this time after nobody being able to finish the lap the last time. Here is Streamer with the lead and cutting off in front of Sal. It's a close finish again. Let's have a look. I think it was Streamer, but we're going to have another look and make sure that we've got the right, accurate winner. Look at that move, and then at the last moment, Streamer moved out of that lane, and it nearly cost him. But as you can see there, on the left side is the white car of Streamer, and the 26 will advance. Sal is going home. And now Group 6, our final grouping. It's Jeff Marbin in the 24, Winks in the 13, and Confetti in the 17. And it looks like it is Winks, and Marbin has some issues here as he'll be passed by Confetti in the 13 of Winks, driving for Bladestar Motorsports in the orange flare machine. will advance, and it'll come down to Marbin and Confetti for that final spot in the final 12. The Crimson Tide on the machine for the 17 on that hood against the iconic number 24, and it'll be Marbin to take the win. And Jeff Marbin, who had a rough first running, was in second and then slid all the way back to third with a much smoother run this time to take the final spot. And so Confetti will be grouped in with those last 6 that are unable to advance. They will be given points toward the championship standings based on their times. You can see there it is. Spitzer and Electro, Prime and Earl, Winks and Mozilla, Murakami and Nugget, Steve and Streamer, Jeff Marbin and Quillo will be the matchups 1 versus 1 as they are seeded up. Spitzer, the number 1 overall seed. Prime, the number 2 overall seed. They are both in it. And here we go with Spitzer versus Electro. The 25 is the number 1 overall seed, and the 25 spins, and Electro with some contact at the end of this race. But Spitzer does get the win. Oh, a lot of spinning. Does a 360, gets back around, going the right way, and Spitzer takes that victory. They will now invert here. The 25 with the first lead. Spitzer with contact. Oh, off the course goes Electro! And Spitzer will take this one as well. Wow, that looked like... We'll have to see the replay, but I don't know if that was necessarily a clean move by the 1 seed. As Spitzer will advance, let's have a look at that replay. Looked like Electro cleared the 25, then got loose. Oh, and up and into the wall, and then over the course. And onto the pavement below. Let's look at the camera view out of the corner, and no, I think that's on Electro. Got too wild going into the final corner and could not control the car. So Spitzer is advanced on now to the final 6. We get the 4 car of Murakami. As you can see, Spitzer waiting on against the 16 of Nugget, driving for Nugget's Diner, of course. And it's going to be Nugget to take the first one. Both cars look like they struggled a little bit there. They were side by side and then coming out of that second corner. Oh, actually, the 4 car there helped the 16 to get back going straight. If there was no contact, Murakami would have had that one. But instead, Nugget takes the win. They get side by side and contact is made. Nugget, flips, and the 4 car is off the course. Neither will finish. A big missed opportunity, really, for both sides. Nugget flips upside down. There you can see the marble in the car. And then the 4 flies off the course. Let's see what exactly happened here. Yep, just slid right off the course for the number 4 for Murakami. Very disappointing. And, wow. Oh, man, and a big hit. As you can see on that replay coming down the final straightaway. We'll have to go again. Nugget trying to advance. This is a best 2 out of 3, or in this case, maybe 3 out of 4, since neither were able to finish that time. It'll be the 4 car in trouble, but still coming across the line first. Murakami will force a winner-take-all in this third matchup now. So it's Murakami 1, Nugget 1, and the course has won 1 as well, as that was unable to allow either driver to finish that second running. Go again here. This is for all the marbles, as they say, and it will be Nugget in the 16, flipping upside down as Murakami, and eliminated here. Tiebreakers for this round will go based off of wins, and then if there are tie for wins in this matchup, then that will go based off of times. So obviously, Electro did not win a matchup, so they will automatically be behind Murakami for those standings 7 through 12. There was the flip. And you can see the 16. All of these cars have really had a hard time staying straight. A lot of loose cars here. Chassis adjustments may be needed in between rounds. Here's the number 8 of Prime in the Magic 8-Ball machine. And the 33 of Earl. Contact is made. Prime comes out in the lead and will take the win. That's a pretty well-run match there. As Earl, one of 3 members of Red Pandas Racing, Lemon Drizel and Woodpecker, who both failed to advance, And so now they're in trouble of potentially being out of this competition. Prime has the lead. Now it's Earl who jumps to the lead, and a quick lap as Earl will get this win and take us to a winner-take-all. Wow, what a move by Earl on the outside line to get in front of Prime and force us to go to one final matchup. Prime from the inside. The 33 of Earl from the outside. It's going to be Prime keeping it straight and advancing on to the final 6. So all 3 members of Red Pandas Racing are out. As you can see, that was a pretty easy win that time for Prime to advance on. Now we get Steve versus Streamer, the 89 Malbow machine against the 26 OB Graphics car. There are the 3 that are in, 3 more to go. Steve from the outside makes heavy contact early with the 26, gets in front, and will take this one to the house. A bold and very aggressive tactic by Steve. You can get turned that way, but Steve didn't care. Kept it going, and the wheelman advances ahead of Streamer and takes the first win. Now puts himself in a good spot, only has to win one of the next 2. Streamer going to try the exact same move on Steve, and it's going to work. The inside line seems to be much better. I guess that's actually the outside line. Yeah, it would be the outside line that has had the success so far, and that would give the advantage to Steve, who will be back on this outside line for round number 3. And again, makes that move. Oh, but an easy advantage. Oh, look at the 26 coming back. It won't be enough. As Steve advances, and that will knock out both of the OB Racing cars. Electro, who lost earlier in this round, the 93. And there the 26 of Streamer, who goes down to Steve, driving for Malbow Racing. And now Winx versus Mozilla. There are 3 teams that have more than one driver. Winx is the last one of any of those drivers left in this competition. He'll get an easy win over Mozilla there. And the 66, really a lot slower than the 13 right there. Bladestar Motorsports has 2. Murakami's already been eliminated. And then Red Pandas Racing, Limon Drizel, Earl, and Woodpecker are all out. We just saw OB Racing had both of their competitors out of this competition. Spinning! Oh, contact is made. Nobody's going to finish. As the 13 had the lead but flipped, and then the 66 could not get out of the way. Watch this move here. Oh, up on the... Oh, wow, what a move by Winx. Up on the guardrail, it looked like. Made the pass, but couldn't stay straight. How about this? Oh, wow, what a move. And ultimately getting in front and flipping himself upside down stopped the 66 from having a chance. Big contact there at the end. And so they will go again. It is going to be Mozilla in the lead and to the victory. And we will again go to this final matchup. That's been a popular thing to have happen. Really, Electro, the only one to not be able to at least win one race. Not looking good for them. Final race, here it is, and it's Mozilla in the lead and to the finish line first. Mozilla advances in the 66. After finishing pretty far behind Winx in that first matchup. Pretty dominant win there. Kept it mostly straight, and you can see at the end, right off the end of the screen there, the 13 had a hard time staying straight, which is something that you're going to have to continue to watch and look at there. As Jeff Marbin in the Do-Marb machine against the number 9 of Quillo. Quillo a little bit loose, trying to make the pass side by side. Too close to call. Let's have a look. Wow, what a tight finish there as Quillo got off to a slow start, but then Marbin got really loose, and they went side by side, touching doors at the finish line. We're going to have to look from the up-high view. There they go. Oh, my goodness. Wow. Here it is. And it is Quillo. Just by the very front of the car. In fact, if you watch the replay through, it looked like Jeff Marbin actually hit the barrier first. But ultimately, it's Quillo that gets the win. Now Quillo going to have to play from behind again. And he does! Quillo makes the pass on Marvin, who really struggled. Got through, but didn't look great in the qualifying heat. And there, unable to keep the car straight. And Quillo made the right move. Oh, almost some contact there. But the 9 able to stay clear of the 24 and get the win. Let's have another look. I love this angle. Great camera work here. Oh, so close to having contact. And the 9 car comes across first and places themselves into the final 6. So there are the standings. 7th through 12th sorted by wins and then best times in the stage. 13th through 18th are sorted by the best time in the stage. Earl will finish 7th, then Winks, Streamer, Murakami, Electro, and Jeff Marbin. And then Sal, Lemon Drizel, Confetti, Woodpecker, Jack Tato, and Neptune, a time of 4:46. That was the slowest time run in the initial stage, the group stage, and so Neptune will finish in last. And that brings us to our final 6. It'll be Spitzer versus Quillo, Prime versus Nugget, and Mozilla versus Steve. The first 2 seeds are still alive. Should be a very interesting matchup here. Spitzer versus Quillo. The 25 and the 9. The 9 might have the best design number in the sport, but it's Spitzer who might have the best car. Early lead flips. Quillo does it again. Another pass made by the 9. Unbelievable. And again, a great job. Oh, there actually may have been a little bit of contact there. Again, back to this camera angle that shows the flip. Really sideways was Quillo, and I don't know, maybe they touched, maybe they didn't. Either way, Quillo gets the win, takes the lead. And now Quillo goes backwards right off the start. Trouble for the 25. Quillo backwards all the way to the win. Unbelievable. Quillo has had a few problems with the starting gate, but problems all over the course for the 1 seed. And Quillo gets another victory. And you see there, they were both going backwards. And now it's a 2-0 lead for Quillo, trying to get it done again. This time it's not going to happen. Easy win for Spitzer. And it doesn't look, unfortunately, Quillo unable to get out of the turn, unable to stay on the course, unable to stay on the wheels as the 9 flips. We'll get another look at that. Really sideways off that turn. And the 25 with an easy win. Getting on the board here. Hopefully that doesn't hurt the momentum that Quillo had for their sake. Close one. Oh, it's going to be the 9. More contact, and that is that. Quillo knocks out the 1 seed. And the 9 car, with the MSWP, the Marble Sports Worldwide podcast on the hood, they are into the finale. And a great job of blocking by Quillo, because Spitzer had the speed coming off the corner. They were both sideways. Oh, what a great job there by the 9. As you could see, the block put on by Quillo. That's an unbelievable job. As Prime will take on Nugget now. Got to win 3 here with the best out of 5, and it's going to be the 8 car. Some contact there. Looked like it propelled Prime to the win. In the lead anyway, but that certainly didn't hurt right there. Got him going. And Prime takes the first. They will go again. And they are off, and it's the 16 trying to clear the 8. They cannot, but now they do keep it straight as best as they can. And Nugget ties it up. Not much of a competition there. Seems like really the competition is between these drivers and their cars, trying to get the machines to stay straight. Early advantage goes to Prime. Prime going to try to keep it, but spinning. Nugget takes the lead and the win. And a very disappointing run there for Prime. Cannot like that. Oh man, that hurts. Had the lead, but could not get the car straight. You can see close, but no contact, and so no opportunity to stop the 16. And Nugget kept it straight. And now there's contact, heavy contact here. This could be it. No, it's going to be the 8. Oh, wow. What a move by Prime to come back. Nugget looked like they may have finished it off. But that is not the case. Oh, what a job by Prime. And then you even saw at the very last moment, Prime cut in front of Nugget to try to... Yeah, there was no... Actually, there was contact at the finish line. Nugget had no chance. Great placement by the 8 car. And now it'll come down to this. Early lead, easy lead. Here is Prime on the guardrail. Will still get it done. You could see the speed really let off of the 8 after he went up against that guardrail on the final straightaway. But an early lead, too much to overcome for the 16. And Prime is into the finale. So you have the 2 seed in, the 1 seed just knocked out by Quillo, and now you had those middle seeds that were left, the 66 of Mozilla, driving for Orange Racing for Sachamamis, and the 89 Malbow Machine of Steve for Malbow Racing. A lot of contact off the course. Goes the 66, and Steve gets a wheel hooked on the guardrail. Nobody's going to finish this one. Oh, wow, really sideways was the 66. Might have gotten some help off the course from the 89 car. And that's got to be a very, very disappointing feeling for Steve to not be able to finish it off after the other car can't finish the course. Now it's Mozilla in the lead and to the win, as Mozilla will take the 1-0 advantage. Both these cars trying to power themselves to the final spot in the championship. Prime and Quillo are there. Who will join them? Steve's on his hood. Mozilla gets it going again and will get the win. As Steve ends up right in the middle of that middle straightaway. Hard contact early. Let's see where it happened. Yep, going into the turn. It may have been the contact between Steve and Mozilla that hurt him. And then, oh, Mozilla just able to get enough speed to get down the hill and across the course. And a very large and looming 2-0 lead for the 66. That's a disappointing run for Steve. Going to have to do a lot to come back. Mozilla in the lead. Steve trying to make some contact. It's not going to happen. It's a sweep for the 66. And Mozilla is into the final. Yeah, their contact. You could see the 89 tried to turn Mozilla. Steve doing all he could, but unfortunately couldn't get enough contact. Here's the 4th place matchup. Spitzer, Steve, and Nugget. Spitzer had the lead. Now it's Nugget that's going to take it. Spitzer will take 5th. 6th place going to be credited to Steve. A distant 3rd place in that matchup. Spitzer had the lead, but coming off of that first turn, a lot of momentum from the 16, and Nugget will get the 4th place finish. You can see Steve really far behind there. Coming up, it's the finale between Prime, Mozilla, and Quillo. We'll be right back. You're watching NASMARB on MSPN.
Are you craving more Marvel sports? Come and join the MSW podcast on all your favorite podcasting platforms. Listen to Marvel Guy and Mr. Woff talk about all of the hottest Marvel topics. Come and explore the Marvel Sports Worldwide podcast.
As we welcome you back here to the Spiral 360, it all comes down to this. Ricochet here for the final between Prime, Mozilla, and Quillo. You just heard from the Marvel Sports Worldwide podcast, and they've got the number 9 car there with the MSWP on the hood, but it is Mozilla in the lead. Now it's the 8 machine, and it's a quick and close finish. I believe that's going to go to the 8 of Prime, who's the highest seed left in this competition, had to make that pass on the final turn. The 66 got some help from the 9. I wonder who finished second. Ultimately, that doesn't matter. It's the 8 who's got the lead. It's the 8 who's going to win the second race. Quillo a distant third. 2 in the bag for the number 8 of Prime. Driving for Crazy 8 Motors and the Magic 8 Ball machine, trying to get a win for their team. Uh-oh, another problem for Quillo out of the starting gate. Here comes Prime again. Quillo at the line may have gotten it done. Another problem at the very start of the course for Quillo. I don't know if that's some kind of mechanical issue or driver error, but at the end, I think they got the win. It looked like they came across the line before the 8, going backwards. And look at that move. I'll tell you what, for a moment there, the 8 did what they needed to do, but they didn't stay on that line to block Quillo. And at the line, it is backwards the number 9 ahead of the 8 for their first win of this championship. Mozilla now drops to 3rd place overall in this matchup, having not won a race. Maybe in the lead here. Here is Quillo. Quillo will get the win, and again, Mozilla a distant 3rd. Quillo ties it up. 2 for the 8, 2 for the 9, and the 66 still waiting for their first chance to get into this competition here. It's going to have to hurry if you are the 66 of Mozilla, and there it is. Mozilla stays straight, gets the win, and Quillo did not finish this course, gets stuck at the exit of the final corner here. So a non-factor in that matchup, and it was between the 66 and the 8. Mozilla gets it done. Looked like Quillo turned Prime there, really eliminating any chance that Prime had of getting that win. And they will go again. This looks like it's going to be Prime, and it will be Prime. Mozilla 2nd, Quillo 3rd. Prime picks up win number 3. And a pretty easy win there. You can see the 66 loose out of the exit of the last turn. Quillo not really in that race. Might be the final time we go. Look at that, side by side. It's Prime at the line. Watch the replay here. The 66 had the lead. A little contact there between the 66 and the 9. May have hurt the momentum of Quillo, or rather the momentum of Mozilla. Definitely no momentum for Quillo. And it's Prime who gets the win. Coming off the final stretch there. You can see the speed that these cars build up. And so that will make your Spiral 360 winner the number 8 of Prime. For Crazy 8 Motors, they pick up 44 points. There's some bonus points added for fastest laps and such, as they are the leader now. Quillo will take 2nd with 35 points. Next up is Mozilla, Nugget, Spitzer, Steve, the top 6, and then Earl, Winks, Streamer, Murakami, Electro, and Jeff Marbin. Marbin is the cutoff right now at 12th. And then Sal, Lemon Drizel, Confetti, Woodpecker, Jack Tato, Neptune, Oak, and Bloodstorm. Oak and Bloodstorm obviously did not race in this course. That is the playoff picture right now. Prime locked in with the win, and it's a 1-point difference between Jeff Marbin in 12th in the playoffs right now and Sal in 13th, not in the playoffs. Obviously, a long way from being able to tell you who really is in the playoffs and is not, but 24 points to the good. Not a bad job for Quillo in that number 9 to start out this course and this season, in the initial season of NASMARB. And so, the first race of NASMARB is in the books. And we remind you not to forget to tune in to Garage Pass on Thursday, where we will break down all the action here from Spiral Speedway. The winner of the Spiral 360 and the first ever race in NASMARB history is Prime for Crazy 8 Motorsports. Should be a very fascinating and entertaining season for the first ever season of NASMARB. Until then, we thank you for watching NASMARB on MSPN. I'm Ricochet. Have a great day. The inaugural season of NASMARB here continues on after a very interesting and fascinating race in the Spiral 360. We've got the Lightspeed 400. There is the qualifying lineup. It's an inversion of the results from the first race, so we will see Bloodstorm and Oak first after they did not qualify, both spinning out and failing to finish that initial qualifying run back at the Spiral 360 at the Spiral Speedway. There's the rest of the lineup, and we will begin with Bloodstorm. We've already run the first lap, so this is the second lap. So on the left side of your screen there, you see the current standings. Bloodstorm whipping their way through, and that time will be a 3:12, just 1/100th of a second faster than the inside lane time. That first run was a 3:13, so an overall score of 3:13. Here is Oak in the number 48, also failed to qualify. Had the fifth fastest lap, by the way, or it was a top 5 lap on the first run before spinning out. Another problem for Oak. Again, spinning and unable to finish, and just a disastrous start to the season for the 48. Driving for ML Fax, and another very poor qualifying run on the second lap, and a long extended period on the hood. And that is trouble for Oak. Here is Neptune, who was the last place finisher from our tournament. And Neptune comes across the line with a time of 3.08, which will make an average time of 3.05 and put Neptune at the top of the charts. Here is Jack Tato. Jack Tato ran the third fastest time on the first laps, despite being the 18 seed last time out. Barely made the tournament for the for the Spiral 360, but here, Jack Tato is the current leader, a 3.1, over a tenth of a second slower than the first lap run by the number 12 car, but a 3.03 average will move to the top. Here is Woodpecker now. And again, we're inverting it, so this is just the opposite of where they finished in our opening race, driving the number 43 for Dave's Motors. Comes across the line, and that will be a 3.37, which is significantly faster, but right now not good enough to be locked in currently. A 3.48 for Woodpecker, who ran the 18th fastest time, so third slowest. Here is Confetti in the number 17, driving for the Alabama Crimson Tide. A little wild off the first turn, spinning on the backstretch, coming across the line. And that time is a 3.76 for an overall time of 5.37. By the way, Confetti spun out and was unable to finish that first lap. Another near disaster, but able to get across the line this time. Here is Lemon Drizel in the number 3. Disappointing run in the first race. This is a little wild, but going to be a finishing time of 3.28. 0.2 of a second faster than their first lap for Lemon Drizel. 3.38 will put them in 4th place currently. And above that cut line, now Sal in the number 2. And Sal ran the 13th fastest time on the initial runs. Trying to improve, looks pretty fast coming across the line, and Sal runs a 3.21 for an average of 3.19 through the 2 laps. And that is good enough for 4th place currently. So the number 2 just overtakes the number 3. Now here's the number 4, Murakami for Bladestar Motorsports in the blue flare machine. Murakami did not run a great time. 9th, so about middle of the pack there. And it will end up all the way up to 3rd, 3.06, 1/100th of a second faster than the first run, an overall average of 3.07. Here's Jeff Marbin in the NASMARB car for Hendrell Motorsports. Marbin also spun out and was unable to finish that first lap. Let's see what happens here. Keeps it straight, and a better run that time for Jeff Marbin, who's off to a rough start. Marbin finished 11th in our opening run, and right now, good enough to be in. We'll see how far back in the field Marbin is, as Electro will stand in now in the number 93 for Texas Rollhouse. Good run, top 5 on the first run for Electro. A lot of speed coming across the line backwards there is Electro, and all the way to the top of the charts right now. A 3:05. That spin cost some extra time, but still good enough for a 3.01 average time. And here is Streamer now in the number 26. New sponsor on the hood is Streamer. It's Carl Racing Company. That white scheme. Oh, rough start though. Coming out of the turn, a little wild. Steadies back out. And for Streamer, it'll be a 3.30. An average time of 3.32. Puts him 7th. Right now, everybody's chasing Electro in the 93. That was the other member of the OB Racing team, the 26 of Streamer. Here's Winks, another of the Bladestar Motorsports machines. You can see a couple of heat wins as those driver profiles were start to fill out. That was a fast lap, it looked like, from Winks. It was a 2.95, moves Winks all the way to the top of the boards with an even 3-second average time. Winks was 8th fastest on the first lap. Here is Earl from Red Pandas Racing, driving for Dave's Ukulele Emporium. All different shades of blue on that car. Spinning in the turns, still spinning. Back and forth. Not a good run for Earl. It's a 3.69, but still enough to qualify. Right now it is Oak and Confetti in trouble. As Earl will come in behind Lemon Drizel. Here is now Steve from Malbao Racing. Steve won 3 heats en route to a 6th place finish at the Spiral 360. Spinning and a little slow toward the bottom of that. A 3.52, 8th fastest on the averaging time there. As you can see, this is a fast course for the Lightspeed 400, just 2 turns, and they come quick. Here is Spitzer. Spitzer was on the pole in our last race and was the fastest time with a 2.86 on the first lap. Spinning, trouble for Spitzer. Coming across the line, and it will be a 3.8, almost a full second slower, and good enough for just 10th. So a very disappointing run on that second lap for the 25. Spitzer's still going to make it, but not anywhere near as good a positioning as Nugget in the 16 for Neurospecs Engineering will stand in. Looks like a pretty smooth run that time. A little wild at the end. Nugget runs a 3.55, an average time of 3.46. That's just 13th out of the 17 to run so far. But again, you only have to be 18th or better to get into this tournament. Here is Mozilla in the 66, who finished 3rd. An impressive debut for the 66 machine. Coming across the line backwards there. The 66 was 10th fastest on the first lap. Will jump up to 8th after that second lap, although it was significantly slower. A little bit of a harder time, it seems, that we've had on the second laps. And now, here is Quillo, the runner-up from our first race, qualifying 16th in the Spiral 360, but won Group 3 with that impressive run there. Took out Jeff Marvin with an impressive move. Took down the 1 seed, beat Spitzer, and ended up finishing runner-up to Prime with a couple of good moves for Quillo in the number 9 as our runner-up, and of course now our 2nd place in the championship standings. Quillo will come across the line with a solid run, 4th fastest the first time, and a 3.19 will drop him to 6th. So Quillo currently in 6th position with an average time of 3.08. You saw some of those highlights from the Spiral 360. And now here is Prime. Last driver. Prime is, of course, our championship standings leader, the winner of the first race. It's going to be between Prime and Oak, and it looks like it's trouble for Oak as Prime finishes and will have no problem. In fact, it is going to be a dead tie between Prime and Winks. And so we will go to a race-off to determine our first seed and our 2nd seed between the 8 and the 13. That's going to happen at the beginning of our next video. There are the standings overall. So Oak, yet again, fails to qualify. 2 races, no qualifications. They'll finish 19th. The 17 of Confetti will finish 20th. Jeff Marvin just makes it in at 18th As you can see there, they are failing to qualify from the inside line, a 2.98. From the outside line, a 5.7 for Oak in the 48. The 17 was the opposite, a 5.37 on the inside. Again, those are 2 times where you failed to qualify at all, couldn't finish the lap. And a less than impressive 3.76 from the outside line for Confetti. So a very disappointing run for them. There are your fastest from the inside. It was Spitzer. From the outside, it was Winks. They'll gain a championship point. And the pole position, we will have to find out who that is in the race-off between Winks and Prime, which will begin at the very beginning of the video for the Lightspeed 400. Should be interesting to see who gains those championship points. And there are the matchups. In Group 1, it'll be either Prime or Winks, and Sal and Jeff Marvin. Group 2 will be the other that is not Prime or Winks, whoever loses that race-off. Mozilla and Woodpecker. Group 3 is Electro, Bloodstorm, and Nugget. Group 4 is Jack Tato, Steve, and Earl. Interesting grouping there. Group 5 is going to be Neptune, Streamer, and Lemon Drizel. Group 6, Murakami, and then Quillo and Spitzer, who faced off in that very interesting matchup in which Quillo upset the 1 seed. They will face off as the 7 and 13 seeds, respectively, in the Lightspeed 400. And so the field is almost set for our second race of NASMARB's inaugural season. Not quite. We've got to see who's going to be the 1 and the 2 seed. A chance for Prime, who was the 2nd seed in our last video, in the first race of this season, to potentially avenge that and really set himself apart as the championship favorite very early in the season. We hope you enjoy our coverage of NASMARB as always, and we will look forward to our next video in which we'll have the Lightspeed 400 right here. It's MSPN's coverage of NASMARB. I'm Ricochet, and thanks for watching. And now, for the most famous words in Marble sports, please welcome today's Grand Marshal, the Seaman.
Marbles, start your engines!
MSPN's coverage of the inaugural season of NASMARB brings us to Hyper Speedway, the Lightspeed 400. Hello friends, Ricochet here, glad to be with you for the second race of the NASMARB season, and we will begin with a race-off between Prime and Winks right here. This is for the 1 seed. Prime has the advantaged line based on the laps run during the qualifier. However, it is going to be Winks that pulls out to the lead. A turn attempt by the 8. Can't get it done, and Winks will become the 1 seed. So for the second straight race, Prime will be the 2 seed. However, that worked out pretty well, as Prime won our first race at Spiral Speedway. And what was the Spiral 360? This, though, is the Lightspeed 400 Group 1. It's the 1 seed Winks, Sal, and Jeff Marvin. And across the line, it is Winks advancing with the win. And now we'll go one-on-one, as you first have a look between Sal and Jeff Marvin, a little bit of contact, and that allowed the number 1 seed, the 13 car of Winks, to take the lead. It looked like Sal was gaining a little bit at the end. Now he'll go one-on-one with Jeff Marvin. Marvin has struggled to start the year, and that will continue as a spin at the end will cost Marvin any chance to advance. It is the number 2 of Sal moving on. And one more look, you see some hard contact into the side door there. And then Marvin just can't keep the car straight no matter what, and really slowed it down at the end. An easy advancement for the 2. Speaking of 2, here's Group 2. It's going to be Prime, Mozilla, and Woodpecker. This is a tough matchup for the 43 of Woodpecker, taking on 2 of the top 3 finishers from our first race. And a lot of contact. Prime and Mozilla. It's going to be Mozilla coming across the line first to advance. As the 66, you'll get another look at it. Initially took an early lead, got turned there by the Dave's Motors machine of Woodpecker, and then hard contact into the side of the 8 of Prime would not allow that number 8 to hold off that advancement by the 66. A much cleaner race that time and an easy win for Prime. So Prime will advance after narrowly missing out on the 1 seed. Has to go one-on-one in order to take out Woodpecker. And so Woodpecker, who finished in 16th And our first race will not advance to the second round here. Group 3 is Electro, Bloodstorm, and Nugget. Bloodstorm, this is their first time actually in an event in the middle there in the 86 Flare machine. Electro, for a time, had the fastest lap. They will take the win here. And very slowly coming across the line is Nugget. So Electro in the 93 for OB Racing will advance. You can see Nugget initially very slow, and it just looked like clearly the 93 of Electro was just the fastest car on the track, at least in that one. Clearly faster than Nugget. We'll see if Nugget can perhaps do a little better here, and we'll see what you get from the 86. And spinning is Bloodstorm, but they're still going to come back and make the pass on Nugget. And Bloodstorm into the next round. And Nugget, after a 4th place finish at Spiral Speedway, tried to clip, and it worked for a moment, clipping that 86, but then Nugget couldn't keep itself straight, and that cost them. Disappointing finish there for the 16. Here's Jack Tato, and then Steve and Earl. The 12, 89, and 33. Oh, it looked like off the course. Oh, it's a very close race at the end, and it's going to be Steve that advanced as Jack Tato came off the course, if I'm not mistaken. Yep, there he went. Contact with Steve, and then at the end it was tight. You can see there. Oh, wow, Steve really out of control. You can see that hard impact as you could... Oh, man. Tough hit for Jack Tato. We'll have to go one-on-one now against Earl. Boy, that one hurt. And you could see Steve was really out of control if that course was a little longer. And now Earl in trouble and will not advance. It's going to be Jack Tato in the 12. And Earl will not get out of the first round with an early mistake. And wow, I don't even know what happened there. Just went sideways and ran the majority of the course backwards, which sometimes can help, but not in that case. Here's Group 5 now. Neptune, Streamer, and Lemon Drizel. Neptune in the 11, and there's contact between the 11 and the 26. Lemon Drizel going to take the win and advance the first one there, taking advantage of the other two going at each other. You could see, yeah, the 11 just turned the 26, and as long as Drizel was able to keep it clean, which he did, there was no chance for either to catch up. So now they'll go one-on-one from opposite sides. And again, there's contact. And it's going to be Neptune as the 26, unable to advance. Streamer in the debut of the Carl Racing Company car. Going to go down in the first round. And a lot of contact the entire way between those two. See if that boils over after this race. As we move on to Group 6. This is Murakami in the 4. Quillo, our runner-up from last week, and last week's pole sitter, the 25 of Spitzer. And it is going to be Whoa! Uh-oh! It's Murakami, but Murakami exits the car. Boy, was that a dangerous scene. The car breaks in two, and the marble ends up on the ground out of the cockpit. We'll have to look and see how that happened. It was a pretty easy win there for the 4. And hard contact between the 4 and the 25. And that is a disaster for Murakami. Hopefully all right, as Quillo will easily take out Spitzer here. And Spitzer hard again into its opponent. That time Quillo with no damage suffered, but another hard hit levied by the 25 against an opponent that had already finished the course, and maybe some sideways looks after that in the same spot. Boy, was that tough. And so Murakami is going to be okay and able to continue taking on Bloodstorm there. The rest of the matchups, Winks and Steve, Jack Tato and Sal, Prime against Lemon Drizel. Those are the top ones, and we'll start in Stage 2 with Winks and Steve. The 13 and the 89, number 1 seed against one of the fan favorites. And Steve gets out to the lead, but here comes Winks. Upside down goes the Maobao machine, and the 13 takes the win. And we'll take a 1-0 advantage. Steve had it for a little bit, but then kind of just lost control of the car. Similar to that initial run in the first round. Lost control. Ooh, lucky to stay on the course, as you see from our angle down at the finish line. They'll go again, invert lanes here. Winks gets out to the lead, and Winks is going to sweep this one away. An easy win for the 1 seed, as Winks will take it 2-0 over Steve. Steve finished 6th in our first race. We'll have a lower finishing point than that here. As that, not much to say about that one. Pretty cut and dry there. Here's Jack Tato and Sal, the 12 and the 2. Jack Tato finished just 17th. Sal finished 13th at the Spiral 360. Jack Tato takes an early lead and an easy win. That was a dominant run there. Never made contact with the other car. Steve ends up coming across backwards, but it didn't matter if he had run the best race of his life. I don't think he was going to beat Jack Tato there. They'll invert lanes. Contact here. And again, it's Jack Tato. It'll be another sweep. Easy win again for the 12. And Jack Tato moves on to the next round. You can see that contact early initiated by the 2, but did not work out. And again, out of that final turn backwards for Sal. Jack Tato with a convincing run. Now Prime, our defending champion, our points leader against Lemon Drizel. And it is Drizel coming away with the first one. And a 1-0 lead over Prime, who is the 2 seed in this tournament yet again. Just like at the Spiral 360, and some contact with the rear of the 3 car may have been what sent Prime around. Let's have another look at it from down near the finish line. You can see there was some contact. And then a great look at the cockpit there. A little blurry, but still great view of Drizel. And Drizel is going to make it another sweep, knocking out Prime, who will not win back-to-back races. Lemon Drizel avenging a 14th place finish last time. And again, initiating the contact. Got ahead, though, and cleared the 8. Nothing Prime could do. Slow at the end of the course, but it was over by the time that happened anyway. Now we get Neptune against Mozilla. So then the first place finisher is out. Now here's the third place finisher, the 66 from last week. And they are in some trouble. Closer, but unable to finish ahead of the 11 of Neptune. And Neptune, who had some hard hits in that first round, but survived, takes the advantage. However, it is Mozilla fighting back with a win to force a deciding third heat. Inverting back to the initial lanes. Neptune by a mile, but here comes Mozilla. Fighting back, and I think Mozilla got him. We'll have to look at the replay. Looked like it was a pretty easy lead. But a bad last turn, and I believe that is Mozilla as they come across the line. One more time. Wow, look at how close that was. Wow, that is as tight as it gets. It is Mozilla. And look at you can see on the screen there how small of an advantage that is for Mozilla. The 66 just barely able to get past the number 11 as Electro will take on Quillo. Electro, the 3 seed, Quillo the defending runner-up. And it will be Electro on the first one. Quillo, one of the fan favorites here, but it's the 93 that takes the lead. 1-0. Again, this is a best 2 out of 3. You just saw it can come down to just not even close to an inch. Ooh, some contact there. Both are able to stay pretty straight, and it's Electro that gets the win and advances. The 93, further than ever in this tournament. Finished 10th last week. We'll do better than that at least here this week at the Lightspeed 400, and it is almost at the speed of light. These cars are moving fast. Coming up, we will have Murakami against Bloodstorm. We'll be right back after this. You're watching MSPN's coverage of the Lightspeed 400 at Hyperspeedway.
Are you craving more Marvel sports? Come and join the MSW podcast on all your favorite podcasting platforms. Listen to Marvel Guy and Mr. Woff talk about all of the hottest Marvel topics. Come and explore the Marvel Sports Worldwide podcast.
As we welcome you back here to MSPN's coverage of the Lightspeed 400 at Hyperspeedway, Ricochet, glad to be with you here, as this is now a matchup between Murakami and Bloodstorm. It is an all Bladestar matchup. Bloodstorm did not make the tournament last time. Now they're taking on their teammate, trying to get further in this tournament, close across the line the first time. And we'll have to see who took that one. Have to look at the replay here. And I think that Bloodstorm got him at the end. That happened earlier with Mozilla, and it ended up being the winner. And yep, that's going to be Bloodstorm. The 86 is going to take the first heat. So Bloodstorm leads at 1-0. Bloodstorm gets out to the lead. Can they hold it? They can. Bloodstorm, with a huge redemption story, moves on after not qualifying and, in fact, placing last from our first race. They are now into the third round. An impressive run. And you wonder how Bladestar Motorsports feel. I would say probably pretty good when their lowest car is able to get further into this tournament here in the Lightspeed 400. You got Winx against Lemon Drizel. Electro will take on Bloodstorm. Jack Tato against Mozilla. We're down to 6. The 1, 3, and 4 seeds are all left. Then you've got some pretty high seeds left as well. Stage number 3 of the Lightspeed 400 begins with the number 1 seed Winx in the 13 for Bladestar Motorsports, driving the Flare car against Lemon Drizel. Drizel takes the lead. Drizel will get the advantage and take a 1-0 lead. Lemon Drizel has all of the accolades of one of the better drivers in this field. Did not pay off last time. A disappointing 14th place finish. However, they've got the advantage again. They are going to do it. Both cars a little out of control there. As a really slow finish for Winx. You can see just how sideways both the cars were. Drizel ahead again. And that will do it. It was a best out of 5, and it's a 3-0 sweep for Lemon Drizel. And a pretty convincing one at that. Drizel outraced thoroughly, I would say, Winx in the 13. Now Electro against Bloodstorm. Electro in the 93 for Texas Rollhouse. Another Flare car on your screen right now, and another Flare car unable to finish. The 86, plagued by that in the first race, costing a chance to actually compete in the tournament. Definitely much further along here, but a disappointing start to this stage as spinning over and over and over again along that backstretch. Electro takes an early lead. They'll invert lanes, contact early on, and again, off the course! Instead goes Electro, landing back on his wheels. Bloodstorm ties it up at 1 apiece. They made contact but stayed pretty straight. And then just too wild out of the last turn for Electro. Off the course. Lucky to land back on his wheels, and it's Bloodstorm who will come away with the win because of that. Evens up at 1 apiece. Whoa, more trouble, and it is Bloodstorm who takes a 2-1 lead, and again Electro nearly comes off the course into the second turn with some trouble, and then just blocked for too long by Bloodstorm, who's now a win away from advancing to the final after not qualifying last time. It'll come down to race 5 as Electro ties it up. And that right there is a new track record. Electro just ran the fastest time, a 3.83 from the inside line. That's the fastest time in track history. And now Electro, after that, I don't think that new track record is what Electro wanted to be the end point of that stage, but it will be, as Bloodstorm is going to knock out the 93 and advance all the way from not making last race into the final of this one. A great comeback for the 86. Electro's still going to have a strong finish, as now Jack Tato will take on Mozilla, and Mozilla has a chance to be the first driver to get into both finals. Jack Tato here going to take well, it was going to be an easy win, but pretty slow down the backstretch made it a little closer. Still enough of a win that you could tell, obviously, clearly more than a car length there, but closer than it probably needed to be. Some contact here. Mozilla is in the lead. Mozilla thrown off the course by the 12 of Jack Tato. Ooh, that was an intense collision, and it looked like just get off my course. Jack Tato has come with a vengeance against the 66 and takes a 2-0 lead. Let's have another look. And, oh, man. The optics aren't great if you're the 12. Whew. I'll tell you what, that was intense. And now Mozilla fights back with a win to delay an advancement and our finale being set up, at least for the moment. Mozilla trying to, again, like we said, get into the final, be the first car to do so in both races. Now taking the lead again, Mozilla going to force a race 5. What a comeback by Mozilla on these last two, doing it pretty easily. Getting away from the 12 and stretching out a pretty significant lead. It'll come down to this, Mozilla and Jack Tato. Jack Tato takes the lead. It will be Jack Tato being pushed across the line by Mozilla, who had more steam and momentum there at the end of the course. However, the 12 blocked properly and advances to the final. Oh, man, that's a heartbreaker for the 66. You can see right there the contact that was made. Still a top 6 finish, as this will be the 4th place matchup. Winner's going to take 4th, and then the 5th and 6th place, the winner of that will be 5th. The loser will end up 6th. It's Winx, Electro, and Mozilla, and it will be Winx that's going to win 4th place. Electro was out in the lead for a moment. Had a little contact there with Mozilla, and that ended up costing any chance the 93 had. So the 13 will take 4th, and then the 93 will take 5th, 6th place for Mozilla. And now Jack Tato against Bloodstorm against Lemon Drizel. It's Drizel that takes the first one. Sideways early was Bloodstorm, which really hurts Jack Tato's chances. Jack Tato was really coming up on the 3 of Lemon Drizel for Red Pandas Racing. In the lead now. Here's Jack Tato. Jack Tato might be the fastest. Oh, but here comes Lemon Drizel to take a 2-0 lead. And upside down is Jack Tato. Jack Tato might be the fastest, but it was not a very smart move. Poor handling of the car there. I would think that one's driver error got too high up into the final turn, and Lemon Drizel takes advantage. For that matter, at least in terms of who finishes second in that heat, so did Bloodstorm. But right now, Drizel has won both. Drizel is going to win all 3 to start this. A 3-0 lead, as Bloodstorm will again finish in second. That was tight there for who gets second. Again, doesn't matter. And now they will go again. Lemon Drizel again in the lead. Drizel! What a final, and that's a winner. Lemon Drizel wins the Lightspeed 400 with a dominant shutout performance in the final. We said, coming in, known as one of the better drivers in the league, didn't show it at the Spiral 360. Absolutely does here at the Lightspeed 400, and because Drizel won all 4 of the heats, now we get a matchup for second place between Jack Tato and Bloodstorm, and it will be Bloodstorm who comes firing back after an incredibly disappointing start to the season. It's a runner-up finish for Bloodstorm, and riding the rail was the 12 Holy cow, what a race run by Lemon Drizel. He ends up with 44 points. Bloodstorm takes second. Jack Tato, Winks, Electro the top 5. Then Mozilla, Neptune, Steve, and Murakami and Quillo are the top half of the field. Sal, Prime, Earl, Streamer, Jeff Marbin, the top 15. There are the standings. Prime is locked in. Lemon Drizel is locked in. Mozilla is the points leader right now, and plus 30 on the cut line. Then Winks, Drizel in 4th. Quillo drops to 5th. Steve, Electro, Jack Tato, Spitzer, and Bloodstorm moves all the way up to 10th in the standings. The top 12 make the playoffs. Nugget is plus 7 on that cut line. Earl right now plus 4 on Murakami, who is 13th, 4 below the cut line. Streamer 5 back, Neptune is 6, and Sal also within single digits, 9 back. Jeff Marbin, Woodpecker, Confetti, and Oak occupying the last few spots. Oak is really in some trouble, just 4 points through 2 races. A lot of momentum to be gained from this one for Bloodstorm, obviously for Mozilla, who is now the points leader, and clearly for Lemon Drizel, who has a dominant run at the Lightspeed 400, particularly in a shutout finale. And so that is all from Hyper Speedway and the Lightspeed 400. You've been watching MSBN's coverage of NASMARB. I'm Ricochet, and thanks for watching. The NASMARB schedule continues to the high banks of the DDT International Speedway with 2 180-degree turns and the longest backstretch in the sport. DDT is regarded as one of the toughest tracks on the circuit, and today our drivers get their first taste of the action as we begin our qualifying for this week's reimagined 400 here. And you see the qualifying lineup on the screen is an inversion of the results from our last race last week at the Lightspeed 400. Which means that we will have last week's winner, Lemon Drizel, who will go last. And we will begin with a couple of cars that failed to qualify last time, including Oak, who has not failed, or is not rather raced in one of our competitions, has failed both times. And the car right there, the 17 of Confetti, who failed to qualify last week, driving for Alabama. Through the first and second turn, spinning on the backstretch and unable to finish. Another bad run for the 17, driving for the Alabama Crimson Tide of Crimson Cruisers Racing, and they are going to have to go back to the drawing board again. It's a DNF to start the qualifying. Here is Oak for FFA Racing, with Marbles for Autism on the hood, and a big turn from the 48 there, but they're going to make it across the line. Looks like it will likely not be a fast run. Spinning back and forth on that mid-stretch between the first and second turns, but able to straighten it out. And Oak will finish this lap with a time of 4:46. And here is Nugget, who is 11th in the standings, as you see the driver profile on the right side of the screen. And Nugget again spins in between 1 and 2, goes across the line backwards, and slowly comes across the line with a time of 4.78 seconds. So the slowest of the three, well, I guess slowest of only the two to finish, and second out of 3 overall for Nugget in the 16 for Neurospecs Engineering and Nugget's Diner. Here is Woodpecker in the 43, 18th in the standings, despite qualifying for both of our previous races. 43 driving for Dave's Motors. Bouncing off the walls, right, left, right again, and failing to finish. As Woodpecker got through the second turn, and then just a disastrous... Oh, wow, it even started before that second turn. You can see no control in the car, and the 43 just bounces off the walls left and right, and fails to finish this one about a section of the track short. So our second DNF out of only 4 racers, as the 43 can't finish, and that'll bring up Spitzer in the 25. Spitzer, of course, has had some success winning the pole at the Spiral 360 to start the year. This is a good run so far, a little wild at the end, but coming across the line with the best time so far, a 4.11 for the 25 for Woff Bowling Alley and Woff Motorsports. A little bit rough at the end. You could see lost the back end of the car there. But still, not an awful run. Here is the 24 of Jeff Marbin now for Hendrell Motorsports and Dumarb on the hood. 17th in the championship standings so far. Pretty smooth, and now a little bit rough at the end, and a time that will be just better than Oaks. Moving into second right now is Jeff Marbin with a time of 4.43. At the end, the backstretch has really caused some problems. We mentioned it's the longest backstretch that any of these cars will face this season. And here is Streamer now, 14th in the standings. Streamer has a new paint scheme yet again for OB Racing. It's Beta Wolves that's on the hood today, and that looks like a strong run, very strong. Carried a lot of speed, and Streamer goes to the top of the leaderboard for the time being with a time of 3.67 seconds. That was a very smooth run for the 26. The first of 2 cars in the field for OB Racing. Here is Earl in the 33. Another Red Pandas Racing car. And this is a good run. Again, the backstretch causes problems, and the time will be third best at a 4.28. Behind Spitzer, but in front of Jeff Marbin. So now these cars starting to have a little more success actually getting through the course after 2 out of the first 4 failed. And so that will bring us to Prime in the number 8. Prime really struggling in between the 2 corners, picks up speed on the backstretch, comes across backwards, and a time of 4.42. It is 1/100th of a second faster than Jeff Marbin, and will take over second place currently, or excuse me, 4th place currently, for the number 8 for Crazy 8 Motors. And that will now bring up the number 2 of Sal. Off and running. Like there's a little bit of a problem going into the first turn, out of the second turn, more issues, and just barely unable to get across the line. It's our 3rd DNF from this inside line. And that was not a smooth run for Sal by any stretch. Got close to finishing, but not able to be the case. That'll bring up Quillo now in the number 9 for the MSW podcast, Marble Sports Worldwide. Pretty smooth run, going to come across the line in second. 4.08, just faster than Spitzer. Nobody's been able to come close to touching Streamer so far. But a smooth run and a solid run for Quillo on the first lap here, moving into second currently. And that will bring up Murakami in the 4 for Bladestar Motorsports. And this lap is another smooth one, but struggling at the end. Can they get across the line? The answer is no, I believe. Or yes, is it? That's incredibly close. Right now they're showing on the left side of the screen a 5.86, which would mean just barely getting across the line for Murakami. It's better than a DNF, but boy, was that close. And by far the slowest time now out of those to finish, as that will bring up Steve in the 89 Malbao machine. For Malbao Racing. Oh, hard into the wall right off the start for Steve. Gonna have to wheel this one around, slowing and unable to finish. Oh, that's a strange occurrence there for Steve, who went hard into the wall right off the bat. And then continued to make contact with that inside wall here, and it just looked like, oh wow, just lost any kind of speed. It's another DNF. Here is Neptune. With ASE on the hood of the 11. That is 1, 2, 3, 4 DNFs now. Spinning hard out of the first turn, coming across the line backwards is the 11 from Neptune with a 4.42. That's the same time as Prime. So they are 5th and 6th, or a tie for 5th, respectively, here between the 8 and the 11. And here's the 66 of Mozilla for Orange Racing. Made it into the finals once. And of course came close to that last week, making it into that next closest round. The 66 will have a little bit of a slow lap there, as that was out of the first turn hard into the wall there you see on the replay. The time comes across at a 4.46, same as Oak. Before you get to that drop off there from the last two, here's Electro, who has 7th place right now in the championship standings for the 93 for Texas Rollhouse. Ooh, not a good first turn, not a good second turn coming across the line, gaining speed, and it will be a 4.91 for Electro, second slowest to finish, but lucky to stay on the course and finish. That was a wild ride for the 93. So Streamer, who is the other OB Racing team member, is in the lead right now, and Electro is the second slowest to finish, as Winks, who won the pole last week for the Lightspeed 400, has a lot of speed but a little wild, and will come across the line with a time of 4.54, good enough for 10th currently out of the 17 to attempt to qualify. 13 have finished. Confetti, Woodpecker, Sal, and Steve have not. And here is Jack Tato. Remember the way that this qualifying works. One from the inside line, one from the outside line. One lap for every driver from each line. As a spin coming across backwards now is the 12 of Jack Tato. And he will finish with a time of 4.91 as well. Another tie. There is now 3 different times that have multiple drivers at that. That's the 4.42 of Prime and Neptune, the 4.46 of Oak and Mozilla, and now 4.91 of Electro and Jack Tato. Here is Bloodstorm for Bladestar. Finished runner-up last week after failing to qualify in week 1 and unable to get through that second turn off the course. Bloodstorm is unable to finish this first lap, and it's going to be a very interesting second lap that's going to be run, because we've got now 5 different drivers that have not finished this lap. Here is Lemon Drizel, who is our defending winner from the Lightspeed 400. After a slow start in week 1, came on with a lot of speed last time. This looks like a pretty good lap for Lemon Drizel, and it is. It's the second best lap, in fact, and it's only the second lap to run a sub 4-second time. 3.91 for Lemon Drizel, which will put him behind Streamer, who ran that 3.67. And there are the lines, or the times from that first line of qualifying here for the reimagined 400. 16th and back did not finish. Confetti, Woodpecker, Sal, Steve, and Bloodstorm. That's something that we've had some issues with a couple of those drivers in the past. Now they will go from the outside line, and Confetti will once again go first. See if they can finish it. Pretty strong lap. Ooh, that was quite a lap there. A 3.72. The time ends up being an 8.79 on what was the determination, what was given in terms of the time for those who didn't finish that first lap. So you average that with the 3.72. It's an average of 6.26 for Confetti. And another strong lap there turned in by Oak. That's a 3.48 for Oak and an average time of 3.97. And to the top of the boards is the 48, who is very, very likely to qualify for their first race. Only need to beat one more driver. And coming across backwards this time is Nugget. And Nugget will average out at a 4.51, so that officially puts Oak in the field for the reimagined 400. That is something that will be celebrated by the FFA racing team and ML Facts and Marbles for Autism, this group that worked hard through the first 2 weeks but could not get any kind of results, as the 43 of Woodpecker again struggling and unable to finish again. Oh, wow. That's an absolute killer for Woodpecker, who is not going to qualify almost certainly. Oh, man, there's just some kind of steering issue with the 43 that causes just a ton of hits to the wall, which slows down any kind of momentum. 7.58 the current time for Woodpecker, as the 25 of Spitzer comes across, and that time will be a 3.83 and an average time of 3.97. That's a tie at the top of the board right now between Oak and the 25 of Spitzer. Oak ran a much faster lap here from this line, as Jeff Marbin will take to the starting grid here, and a very imbalanced lap for Jeff Marbin. 4.54 on it, an average time of 4.49, which is third out of 6 now. You're going to notice Woodpecker here, who did not finish this lap, is going to continue to have their time changed. If you get slower laps, then their average lap will change as well, as here's the 26. Fast lap, I think. It's okay. A 3.88 for Streamer, but it's good enough still to go to the line or go to the top of the leaderboard with a 3.78 average time. And Streamer, who ran a very, very fast first lap, is on top right now as we get to Earl here. Looks like a good lap for Earl. And it is a 3.78 and an average time of 4.03, which will be fourth best. Confetti and Woodpecker right now, the two that are not in currently. Confetti trying to avoid missing a second consecutive race. Big spins again for Prime. This has been a theme. Prime comes across the line slow, but still good enough to finish. And right now, that's the slowest car that's in the field. A 4.96 on the lap, an average of 4.69, and 7th out of 9. But that's enough to still get in the field for Prime, who won the first race. As we move forward now, and this is going to be a pretty good lap here. And that is the 2 of Sal, who did not finish the first lap. That lap, though, is not fast enough to beat out Confetti. And so a time of 6.38 on the average will lock Confetti into this race with a time of 6.26. And that now brings up Quillo. Quillo spins. Trouble for the 9. Oh, boy, that's a big one. Quillo in some trouble, but it should be still enough, and it will be enough to lock Quillo into the field. Wow, that was a dangerous mistake by the 9 car. Average time now sits at 5.76. As the 4 of Murakami stands in, they slide, and they will not finish. Murakami, who had the slowest time out of the drivers to finish the first lap, does not finish this one and is now in danger of not making the race. That locks Sal into the field. A 6.38 is only 10th best, but Sal is in, as is Confetti. Quillo could potentially have their time change, but they're in. And Steve, there's something wrong with the 89, and Steve will not finish this one. Woodpecker and Steve both unable to finish, and again hard into the wall right out of the starting gate for the 89. There's something wrong with that machine, and they're going to have to take that one back to the garage and figure that out before our next race, as it looks as though there's going to be some severe issues for Steve. Even if you get to a tie-break situation where multiple drivers end up with that 2 consecutive DNFs, and they have to settle that some way as the 11 of Neptune stands in. And we'll put up a time that will average out to 5th best, 4.18. Streamer still on top by 0.2 of a second over Oak and Spitzer. But what I was seeing is, even if you get to that tiebreak situation, I don't think Steve is going to be able to finish this course. Here's the 66 of Mozilla, a little high off the first turn, but able to come across the line. And the 66 averages a time of 4.51, which is tied with Nugget for 7th and 8th. Got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 drivers still. Bloodstorm is the only driver who did not finish the first lap that is still yet to go. Here's Electro spinning out of turn 1, coming out of turn 2 now and across the line, finishing with a time of 4.96, an average time of 4.94, over a second behind the leader, his teammate Streamer. But Electro locked into the field currently in 10th after a strong run last week. And that will bring up the 13 of Winks. Whoa! Looked like it came off the course for a minute there. Back onto the course goes the 13. And that time is a 4.76, an average of 4.65, and 9th place right now. Dropping Prime to 10th and dropping Electro out of the top 10. In this seeding, again, 18 get in. Out of the 20 that will attempt to qualify right now, Woodpecker in the 43, Steve in the 89 are in trouble. They will, that's not going to be a finish. Jack Tato, who struggled in the first lap, will not finish this one and will drop into 13th place. Ahead of Confetti and Sal and Murakami, but behind Quillo, who currently has the best time and the best position out of anybody who has failed to finish a lap. This is going to determine whether or not we get a tiebreak. If Bloodstorm can finish the lap they're in, if not, we're going to have some problems. Bloodstorm comes across the line and is in the field for the reimagined 400. And that time for Bloodstorm will equal out to a 6.67, which is last right now, and is basically going to end up, it will definitely be the last car to get in. At 17th will be 18th, as Lemon Drizel, defending race winner from last time out, has a good run going here and a strong finish for Drizel. It's a 3.7, and it is going to be second. Not enough to beat Streamer, who runs an average time of 0.03 of a second faster than the 3 of Lemon Drizel, who's really kicking it into form here. And so there are the finishing standings from our qualifier. Woodpecker is out for the first time, and for the first time as well, out of the race and unable to qualify is the 89 of Steve. Some severe issues for Steve. They're going to need to get figured out for Malbao Racing. The fastest laps from the pole, it's going to end up being 3 championship points added to the time of Streamer, a 3.78 average. They were also the fastest from the inside line, 3.67, and it was Oak that picks up a spot or a point from the outside line with that fastest time. Failing to qualify, the 89 of Steve and the 43 of Woodpecker. Neither finished a lap from either side. Group 1, the 1 seed of Streamer, and then a Mozilla and Bloodstorm. Group 2 will be Lemon Drizel, Winks, and Murakami. Group 3 is Oak, Nugget, and Sal. Group 4 is Spitzer, who won our first race, who was on the pole for our first race winner, Prime, and Confetti, who is back in a race after failing last week. Group 5 will be Earl, Electro, and Jack Tato. And our final grouping, Neptune, Jeff Marbin, and Quillo, who will try to avenge that poor second lap. So the field is now set for the third race of our season, the reimagined 400, right here at the DDT International Speedway. And until next time we get ready to race, you've been watching NASMARB on MSPN. I'm Rick O'Shea, and thanks for watching. And now for the most famous words in marble sports. Please welcome today's Grand Marshal, patron and team owner of Defy Scent Vehicles, FlameVapour.
Alrighty, everyone. I'm not being paid to say marbles, start your engines.
It may very well be the track that is too tough to tame, with not one but 2 drivers completely failing to complete a lap in our qualifying session and a ton of drivers having issues during the qualifying, but finally, the field of 18 is set for the reimagined 400 here at DDT International Speedway as we welcome you to MSPN's coverage of NASMARB. I'm Ricochet, glad to be with you, seeing groups here 1 through 6, including our number 1 seed streamer who will get us started in just a moment. And Le Monde Drizel is another notable, won last week and is the 2 seed for this week's race here, the reimagined 400 at DDT International Speedway. So we will begin with the 1 seed streamer who will go from the outside there, gets the pretty big lead on Mozilla and Bloodstorm. It'll be Streamer that gets the win. Bloodstorm finishes second, and Mozilla didn't get out of the first turn. Upside down. Have a look at the replay here. Keep an eye on the orange 66 car out of the middle. Got turned by Bloodstorm. Oh, and then got pushed off the course again by the 86. And so that will force a one-on-one matchup now here between the 66 and the 86 as you have another look there. Bloodstorm was a runner-up last week. The 66 has had some success in both of our races so far, close across the line, and I think it's Bloodstorm that gets him. It is. And an early exit for Mozilla, who has had a lot of success. In fact, Mozilla has been in the top 6 in each of the first 2 races, was a Final 3 member in the first week. Oh, and you can see there, the move did not work for Mozilla, going across the line backwards and clearly slower than Bloodstorm. But tried to make a block right there, just got shoved out of the way. And the 86 comes across the line first and advances, which will bring us to Group 2. Le Monde Drizel in the 3, the 13 of Winks, and the 4 of Murakami. Le Monde Drizel gets the advantage. Needs to run a clean lap, and will. It was pretty close there, and it looked like we had another car that didn't finish. We do. Oh, off the course in the second turn. Drizel gets the win. And more contact there early. That was Winks. But it wasn't Winks that ended up getting turned around, even though Winks had seemingly been turned just like we saw with Mozilla in the first group. It was Murakami that couldn't finish the lap. And so they'll go again. Murakami is upside down. There is Winks to the finish line first, and Murakami runs 2 laps but will not finish. And so the 13 of Winks is going to advance. And that is honestly something that we've seen a lot. Murakami only finished 1 lap during qualifying, so just 1 of 4 total laps here at the DDT International Speedway is finished as we move on to Group 3. Here is Oak. Oak has maybe you could say it 2 ways, either the most or the least pressure on him. First race that they have qualified for, and they will win the stage. And neither of the other drivers are able to finish the lap, as Oak, who failed to qualify in each of the first 2 races, had clearly more speed there, and it looked like the 2 and the 12 got tangled up with each other. Oh, and you can see there at the bottom of the screen, you saw Sal just go hard into the wall, turned sideways, and there was no chance there. Excuse me, it was the 2 and the 16 of Nugget here. And it will be the 2 of Sal advancing. Pretty easy win there for Sal. Saw Murakami and Winks, those are both from Bladestar Motorsports. Had to eliminate one of their drivers. Nugget has now failed to reach the group stage or advance through the group stage in either of the last 2 races after a pretty strong first race. Not the case here as we move on to Group 4. It's Spitzer, Prime, and Confetti. Confetti barely made it into the field after failing last time. Turns around, he's in the lead. Here comes Prime. Spitzer, it's gonna be nobody. Nobody finishes as the 17 gets turned and blocks the way for each of the other 2 drivers. This is a tough matchup for Confetti, facing Prime, who won the first race, facing Spitzer, who had the pole for the first race, but they'll have to go again. Spitzer in the lead. Here is Prime. They are close. It is Confetti making the move to the right side and through and winning. And for the first time, Confetti is into the next round. How about that move by the 17? Spitzer and Prime maybe forgot about the other driver. And oh, wow, nice move. A very impressive run there by Confetti. And now we're going to have to lose one of our better drivers, and we're going to lose Prime. Not close. Clean race, and Spitzer has the speed to get past Prime, who fails to make it through the group stage for the first time in 3 races after winning our first race in the history of NASMARB, being the 2 seed in each of the first 2 races. Did not have it here today. As we move on to Group 5 now, Earl in the 33, the 93 of Electro, and the 12 of Jack Tato. Earl in the lead. I think everybody else had some kind of problems, as they will both make it across. Electro finishes second. But it's an easy win for the 33 of Earl. Have a look at the replay, see what happens. Electro gets turned. Oh, they flip up on the course. That's pretty impressive that both drivers ended up finishing there. Well behind the 33 of Earl, who didn't have, honestly, a great run, but able to still win that one pretty easily. So now it's one-on-one. Electro and Jack Tato. Electro is in the lead. Jack Tato right on his tail, and it'll be Electro. The 93 advances through on a very aggressive run there from both drivers. Electro got turned early, but stayed and then got, wow, a ton of contact from the backside. And honestly, it may have helped at the end, the 93 of Electro, and it'll bring us to our final group. Neptune, Jeff Marbin, and Quillo. Quillo had a very disappointing qualifying run, failed to finish one of the laps. In the lead here, though, and winning it, going across the line backwards. The 9 advances to the next round. And it puts Jeff Marbin on the hot seat with Neptune. Marbin was a distant third there. And just got sideways, the 24 did. And then like a side draft by Neptune. Sent him back into the wall. Let's see what happens one-on-one now. Marbin in the lead. Can he hold on this time? The answer is no. He gets passed on the backstretch. And Neptune takes the final spot in the next round as Jeff Marbin is eliminated and continues what has been a struggle of a season so far for the 2014. Right there, got sideways on the backstretch, which happened in the first lap. And so now here is the second round matchup, Streamer and Confetti, Spitzer and Bloodstorm, Lemon Drizel and Electro, Earl and Winks, Oak and Quillo, Neptune versus Sal, as we have all of the top 6 seeds remaining. So no upsets from the top seeds, as we'll go Streamer against Confetti in stage 2. 1 seed against the 17, both seed and numbered car of Confetti. Whoa, big spin! Confetti keeps going and is going to steal away the first one. Holy cow, let's have another look. Oh, wow. A ton of contact with part of the course. Streamer unable to finish. Confetti went for a wild ride inside that 17 machine, but is able to advance another look. And the 26 got up on the course. That's what happened there. Now Streamer in the lead here. Confetti trying to hang with, but it's going to be an even up on that one. Streamer gets the win and evens us at 1 apiece. Confetti got right up on the back bumper there, exiting turn 2 and trying to get down that backstretch, final part of this course. He'll go again. And Streamer, much easier that time. And that is that. So Streamer taken to the brink by Confetti. And it's for a spot in the final 6. It's going to be the first career appearance for Streamer in the final 6 with a different sponsor on the hood here. Beta Wolves is the sponsorship For the 26, he's had the fastest time. He's been clearly the best so far, as Spitzer and Bloodstorm will face each other. Winner goes to the final 6 for their second time. Bloodstorm from the inside, Spitzer from the outside. Spitzer's in the lead, contact on the backstretch, and it is Spitzer holding on, crawling across the finish line to take a 1-0 lead. Looked like the back tires may have actually come off the course for a moment. This is an incredibly tough course. And slowly coming across the line at the end is Spitzer. But in the lead now as they switch lanes. This one looks like a better lane for Spitzer, but now gets stuck and gets passed on the backstretch. Bloodstorm evens it up. Wow, Spitzer had the speed, but just got completely sideways going down the backstretch, and only a little bit of contact couldn't stop Bloodstorm. And now this one to determine our second finalist in the final 6, and it will be Spitzer by 1.5 miles. Upside down on the back of the course is Bloodstorm. So after not making the first race and a finals appearance, a runner-up spot last time for Bloodstorm, more even now in the field, as it'll be a middle-of-the-pack finish. Final 6 appearance for the second time for Spitzer. As Lemon Drizel will take on Electro. Lemon Drizel trying to ride momentum from last week. Won it. Did it easily. 2 seed this week and a very easy first win over Electro in the 93. Electro made the final 6 last week, as did obviously Lemon Drizel, who wins it. Electro finished 5th. And he's going to need to win this one to stay alive. They go into the turn side by side. Look at the pass attempt, but Drizel holds him off and sweeps the 93 and takes our 3rd spot in the final 6. That was an impressive case of driving there for Lemon Drizel. He got moved out of the way going into the turn by the 93, but Electro could not complete the pass, couldn't get clear, and Drizel runs away with it. Earl against Winks here. Blue and white car of Earl, the black and orange of Winks, and Winks is going to get pushed across the finish line to win the first one. Winks, who also was in the final 6 last time, placed 4th for Bladestar Motorsports. Bladestar had 2 of the top 4 finishers. We just mentioned Bloodstorm was the runner-up. Winks in the lead. Can he hold on? The answer is yes, as Earl doesn't finish. He went bouncing off the walls on the backstretch. And it's back-to-back sweeps. Drizel in the first one. Winks sweeps away Earl. And it wasn't ever in doubt, as Winks with a pretty easy win. You can see on the replay Earl doesn't get across the line. Here is Oak and Quillo. Quillo, one of the fan favorites. Oak trying to obviously get to the final 6 for the first time. He flips, but Quillo gets stuck in turn 2, and they'll have to do it again. Wow, flip right in the first turn. And then just went sideways, did the 9. And when you're going sideways, wow, out of control is the 48. Honestly, out of control is the 9. When you're going to go sideways into a turn like that, you severely lessen your chances that you're going to get through. We'll go again. Oak in the lead, and with a confident win in our first heat here of this next round, Oak takes a 1-0 lead, trying to get to the final 6 for the first time. Obviously, wherever he places will be a career best. So he'll switch lanes. This one much closer. Oak puts some pressure on Quillo, but they even it up. They're side by side, into and out of the first turn. That was an impressive job by both drivers to keep that as clean as possible. And so we now reach the final heat. Oak has a lot of speed from that lane and wins it. As very slowly across the line comes Quillo. They are out, and Oak is in the final 6 for the first time. So congratulations to the 48 team. And all the folks at FFA Racing, ML Facts and Marbles for Autism, with clearly their best run. And now the final matchup, it is Neptune and Sal. And whichever one of these drivers makes it through will have their first final 6 appearance. Sal hard into the wall. Neptune avoids and advances through turn 2, which Sal could not, gets the win and takes the early advantage. Now Sal went hard into the wall. Almost looked like a block attempt, just went sideways into turn 1. Not sure that's a great idea. Not sure it was intentional. You see the other drivers that these two are trying to join. Sal has the lead. Can he finish? Here comes the 11. Contact at the end, and Sal evens it up. Had the lead, slowed at the end of the race, and if Neptune had chosen another lane, they may have gotten the win. It would have been really close at the line. Instead, it's a winner-take-all now for the final spot. Sal in the lead. Neptune makes the pass, gets the win, advances to the final 6. You look at the replay, Sal had the speed early, but again struggles coming off turn 2 and down to the backstretch. Almost made another great block, slowed Neptune down a lot, but not enough to avoid Neptune being able to finish. Lemon Drizel out of these final 6 is the only one to make it to the finals with the final 3, and he is trying to become the first driver. If he does make it, he'll be the first driver to make it to the final 3 twice. That has never happened through the first 2 races. First to 3 wins here in Stage 3. Streamer versus Winks, the 26 and the 13. Gotta win 3 to get to the finals. Streamer gonna easily win the first one. And Winks, as you can see, didn't make it to turn 2. You'll see it on this replay where it happens on that first long stretch. Actually, so far behind you can't even see it in the screen. But couldn't make it to turn 2 for Winks. Disappointing start. He'll switch lanes. See if Winks can have a better run. Streamer still in the lead. Streamer gonna make it 2-0. Streamer's got a lot of speed. This may be by far the car to beat. Hasn't really been tested with the exception of Confetti, who ran well, won the first race, but that was a very strange one. Both cars had a lot of issues with the track, and then the second one held in there for a while. Streamer spins, still going, and Streamer sweeps away Winks. The 13 is out. And Streamer is going to become the first #1 seed to make it to the final. Interesting note there. Also, Winks, who finished 4th last time, was swept in the finals, in the final 6 last race as well. So they have not won a race in the round of 6. Here's Lemon Drizel and Neptune. Very interested to see if Drizel can continue the success. Neptune tries to get in front and does, and Neptune's going to win the first heat. As Drizel comes across the line, pretty far behind there. They spun in between turns 1 and 2, trying to make something happen, and it didn't work. And a pretty easy win for Neptune. Maybe Drizel not showing everything he's got. Ooh, Neptune making a couple of hard moves, but Drizel's going to get the win. And we'll even it up. 1-1. Remember, you got to get to 3 now. And so it's even at 1 apiece. Drizel by a mile. Neptune tried to do something at the end, but got slow out of the gate, went right into the wall, and Drizel had a very smooth run. No chance for Neptune really to come back from that one. So it's 2-1 Lemon Drizel. He's 1 win away from the final 3 for the second time. Trying to become the first driver in history to do that. He's got the lead here. He's going to hold on. And Lemon Drizel is back in the finals. First driver in NASMARB history to make multiple final 3s. And he's going to do it as the 2 seed after doing it as the 1 last week. So Oak and Spitzer now, as they will face off here. Here is Oak. Oak with the speed and a smooth run, showing what they can do now. Oak takes a 1-0 advantage. Boy, this has really been a huge momentum booster, you'd assume, for Oak and for this 48 team after failing to qualify in either of the first 2 races. They're not necessarily going to make the playoffs, as they're going to spin here and Spitzer's going to even it up. But just to be able to have some kind of success has got to be huge. Something I think you could also say for Confetti, despite the fact that didn't get out of the second round, losing to clearly the best car in the field right now, the 26. Oh, what a move there by Spitzer to make the pass at the end. And after a slow start out of the gate, they're going to take the pass and go by Oak right at the end. Gets across by about a car length to take a 2-1 lead. Oak now has a pretty big lead and will win this one, and we're going to go to a decisive 5th race. What I was saying about Confetti is that even though they lost in the second round there to the 26, won one of the races and held pretty tight in another one, a building block there for the 17 after barely making it into this field. There are the other 2, the 26 and the 3, the heavyweights. Who's going to join them? Spitzer and Oak. Spitzer is going to get it done. Neither car with a perfect run. A perfect run would have beat the other car, but not the case, and the 25 was just good enough. Got about a car length lead out of turn 1. And even with that losing of the back end there, nothing the 48 could do. So Spitzer is into the final 3 as Oak, Neptune, and Winks will face off for 4th through 6th. Winks won this race last week and so took 4th place last week. Oak obviously has never been at this point before. And it is going to be Neptune and then Oak. And Winks had the lead coming out of turn 2, but could not get it done. Just got slow. So 4th place will go to the 11 car of Neptune. Oak will take 5th in the 48, and it is 6th place for Winks. That's disappointing there. Streamer, Lemon Drizel, Spitzer, they are coming up next for the final.
Are you craving more marble sports? Come and join the MSW podcast on all your favorite podcasting platforms. Listen to Marble Guy and Mr. Woff talk about all of the hottest Marble topics. Come and explore the Marble Sports Worldwide podcast.
Always great to hear from the folks over at the Marble Sports Worldwide podcast as we're back here at the DDT International Speedway for the finale and a wild race between the 26 and the 3. Streamer's going to get the win. It's 1st to 4. Wow, look at that going into turn 2. They were all over each other. And Drizel and and Streamer going back and forth. The 25 of Spitzer finishes 3rd. Drizel takes the advantage into turn 2. He's got the lead. He's being pushed across the line by the 26 to even it up. Boy, that 26 car's got a ton of speed. Just punted the 3 into the lead and across the line. Now the 25 is in the lead. Can he hold on? The answer is yes. He gets pushed again. Wow. All even at 1 apiece. Streamer, Lemon Drizel, and Spitzer, who had to hold on, just got the block down on the 26, who's been close to winning all 3 races. Took the first one. Now in the lead here, and a little bit of a block put on by Drizel. Not sure that's intentional, because it loses either car's chance to take out the leader. Right there, blocking Spitzer gives an early or an easy win to Streamer. And then close across the line, it was Drizel who finished second. Don't get anything for that. And Streamer going to make the pass in turn 2 on Drizel. Again, a distant third is the 25. Streamer up 3, 1-1, and has a chance to win it here. From the middle goes Drizel, trying to hold on. Off the course is Lemon Drizel. Taking the win with contact at the end is Spitzer, who now takes over second place. Wow, what a wild one, and we hope Lemon Drizel's okay. That was a lot of contact. You could see in the background there, falling down the mountainous terrain here at the DDT International Speedway, and there is Drizel on his wheels, which is good. Wow, that was a wild one. Drizel now running in third, trying to take the win. He will to keep this one alive. Streamer in a close second. Spitzer doesn't finish. You could see he was behind the other two anyway. Tried to make a move at the end, but just didn't have enough speed that wasn't going to get by Drizel anyway. Now Drizel in the lead. Lemon Drizel ties it up at 3. Spitzer, for the second straight race, doesn't finish. But we're one win for Spitzer away from potentially having a winner-take-all. This is the first time we've ever seen multiple drivers get to 3 wins. Could we see all 3 drivers get to 3 wins? Or does it end here? Streamer in the lead. Now it's Spitzer that's going to get it. Oh, boy, here we go. It's a winner-take-all as Streamer, Lemon Drizel, and Spitzer all have 3 heat wins, and they will go for the championship here of the Reimagined 400. One race gonna determine the winner. Wow, what a finish. Here we go. Drizel takes the lead early. Now it is Streamer in the lead. Oh, there's a caution. Drizel's out of the car. Oh, no. A disaster for Lemon Drizel. We will have to rerun it. Oh! Up into the air. Drizel he won the heat. His car didn't come with him. Whoa. They're going to re-piece together the car, stick him back in there and say, try to go win it now. Streamer in the lead, and he is going to do it. The 26 was pushed to the brink there, but Streamer gets it done. Fastest car all day long wins it. So we'll have another look. What a crazy final 3. A winner-take-all, a driver leaving his car, the car flipping upside down and all over the place, and he finishes by himself across the line. That was a wild one. And now, since they were tied at 3 wins apiece, Drizel and Spitzer will go again for second. Drizel, who won last week, he's going to take an easy second-place victory here, as Spitzer struggles and actually will not get across the line. And Lemon Drizel in the 3, proving himself to be quite the driver for Red Pandas Racing and Dave's Motors on the hood of the 3 car. And it's 3rd place for the 25 of Spitzer for WAF Motorsports and WAF's Bowling Alley. There are the standings for today's race overall. Streamer Drizel, Spitzer, Neptune, Oak, and then Winx, Confetti, Quillo, Bloodstorm, and Sal, the top 10. Electro, Earl, Prime, Jeff Marbin, Nugget, Mozilla, Jack Tato, and Murakami, who finishes last out of those to make the race. Again, the 89 of Steve and the 43 of Woodpecker unable to finish. And you can see there now Lemon Drizel, Streamer, and Prime locked into the playoffs. And right at the cut line, it is close. 1 point to the good for Jack Tato. 1 point behind is Nugget and Earl. Sal is 6 points behind. 11 points in the red is Murakami. 13 back for Oak. 14 for both Jeff Marbin and Confetti. All the way to 30 points back for Woodpecker, who is a far distant last place. Steve is up by 3 points despite not making the race. For this week, still able to be in it. Bloodstorm is now plus 10 after qualifying for the last 2 races and having some success last week. Not as much success this week, though. And then you can see all the way up to Winx, who is right now the points leader out of those that have not won races. Second overall in the points. 9 points behind Lemon Drizel, who is now our championship standings leaders. Winx is 36 points above the cut line. So it's Drizel, Winx, Spitzer, Streamer, and Quillo, the top 5. Mozilla, Prime, Electro, Neptune, and Bloodstorm, the top 10. Last 2 drivers in the 12-car playoff field right now is the 89 Maubau machine of Steve and the 12 of Jack Tato. And then those that are below the cut line and either need to gain some points or win some races, Nugget, Earl, Sal, Murakami, Oak, Jeff Marbin, Confetti, and Woodpecker. And so those are the updated standings here for the first season of NASMARB on MSPN. A wild race here. We said it may be the course that's too tough to tame. May have lived up to the billing there today, as it was a wild one. We had a lot of things we haven't seen before, including a walk-off, as Streamer gets the win in a 3-3-3 tie, wins the championship of the reimagined 400 at the DDT International Speedway. And so until next time, I'm Ricochet, and you've been watching NASMARB on MSPN. We welcome you to Mayhem Super Speedway. It might be the biggest and the baddest track on the NASMARB circuit, and today it is the site for the 4th race of the season, the Misfortune 400. Ricochet, glad to be here with you for MSPN's coverage of NASMARB. As you see our qualifying lineup, which as always is an inversion of the previous race's results, which means Woodpecker and Steve, who failed to qualify in our last race, the reimagined 400, will be first, all the way through the top half of our finishing from last week. Lemon Drizel and Streamer will go second to last and last, as they finished first and second last week. And we'll hope to continue some good success there from Lemon Drizel with Red Pandas Racing, and we're going to actually send it down to a report on the sideline on Red Pandas Racing.
Thanks, Rick. I spoke to Big Dave, team owner of Red Pandas Racing this week, and he said the team is focused on getting all 3 of the team's drivers into the playoff field. With Lemon Drizel already locked in, they're shifting their focus to the other 2 drivers. Woodpecker specifically has struggled this year, currently in last place in the standings and with nothing to lose. They have completely rebuilt the 43 car using knowledge the team has gained from Drizel's great performances over the last 2 races. We'll see if it works out for him. Back to you.
All right, thank you, John. So that's interesting that the Red Pandas Racing team going to try to get all of their cars in and do it with some different mechanics. They're going to get their first chance to test out that opportunity, and we're going to start with Woodpecker, who gets a little wild there, but is going to get through the course backwards in a time of 3.10. Oh, flipping upside down back onto the wheels. Nice work there by Woodpecker to stay on the course. And that's the time to beat right now, 3.1. As you see, Steve in the 89 Malbow machine really struggled last week. We'll see what Steve can do. A little bit slow through the first couple turns and across the line, a 3.88, 7/10 of a second slower. And it looked like there was some contact there with the... Yeah, strange contact with the bottom of the track there. Caused an issue as Murakami, who was the last car to gain points last week, and that Flare number 4 machine gets wild and gets off the course. Just like Woodpecker, looked like it was a flip in between the first and second turns. It was, but this time unable to regain the footing, and Murakami will not finish this lap. As we'll move to Jack Tato in the number 12. Again, it's wild, and again, not going to finish. So a great job by Woodpecker to get through after a little bit of a rough run, as now we've seen issues for back-to-back drivers. Murakami can't finish. Jack Tato can't finish. Here's Mozilla in the 66. And Mozilla gets through the turns and across the line backward, a time of 3.77. Looked like Woodpecker put up a pretty darn good time, as only 2 of the other 4 drivers have finished, and neither have come anywhere close to that time put up by Woodpecker, who, by the way, has the worst average qualifying position, averaging an 18th place qualifying. Here's Nugget in the 16. Nugget is upside down, and Nugget's not going to finish. Got out of the gate bad, and that whole entire lap just did not look comfortable for the 16. So we see Jeff Marbin now, 18th in the standings, averaging a qualifying position of 10th and averaging a finishing position of 13th. So not great for Jeff Marbin, but Marbin's going to get through this one and look like probably the second fastest time. It will be a 3.69. Oh, wow. Up and nearly over the course there, but a good job to keep that one calm and get across the line. A 3.69 is the time for Jeff Marbin. That'll bring up Prime. Prime is now 7th in the standings after winning the first race, qualifying in second in each of the first 2 races. Will not get across, as upside down in the final turn, it's a DNF for the Lucky 8 Ball. As Earl from Red Pandas Racing will stand in, 14th in the standings. The other Red Pandas Racing team car that hasn't gotten in, that was a fast time too, 3.21. And how about the Red Pandas Racing cars? Talked about with John Ball about how they're going to attempt to get all 3 of their cars locked into the playoffs, focusing on Earl and Woodpecker, with Lemon Drizel already in, and right now, Earl and Woodpecker are 1 and 2 on the leaderboard for our qualifying. As here is Electro, gets a little bit sideways at the end, but that's a good time. A 3.68 is going to be the 3rd fastest time run so far. And a couple of cars in a row now that have completed, which is a good sign. It's a little bit of a tricky track. Certainly the toughest we've been at so far on the circuit, as Sal Comes up to the starting gate. And a pretty nice run. That time is a 3:41. Beats out Electro for the third fastest time. And that's the first car that is not a member of Red Pandas Racing to get within a half a second of the leader. Good time there. Here's Bloodstorm in the 86. Ooh, a little bit of a rough start. Can they recover? Bloodstorm gets across the line. It won't be fast. It's the slowest time at a 4.1. But you still beat out 4 cars because there's 4 that didn't finish. So a nice job by Bloodstorm to hang with it, get across the line. And that'll bring up Quillo in the number 9, 5th in the standings. After that improbable runner-up finish. And a big flip. Back on the course, but upside down goes Quillo. Will not finish the lap. Oh, wow. That is a wild ride for the number 9. Holy cow. So the 9 will not qualify on this lap. That'll bring up the 17 of Confetti. And Confetti with a pretty solid lap. Flips at the end, but ultimately that doesn't matter. It's the third fastest lap, a 3:31 for the 17 of Confetti. Pretty good run there. For a car that needs to start getting good runs, here is Winks in the 13, second in the point standings. In one of those flare cars. And there might have been a barrel roll there. Let's look again. Nope, not quite. Stayed on the wheels the entire time. Solid run. A time of 3:77. That's tied with Winks. But if you finish this, you're in an okay spot because you've already got 5 that have not. Here is Oak in the 48. Also in need of a good finish after failing to qualify in each of the first 2 races. Wild across the course, but through with a time of 3.60. So it certainly wasn't the smoothest ride for Oak, but a pretty solid run. That's 5th right now on the leaderboard. And that'll bring up Neptune now in the number 11. And Neptune with a smooth run, not the fastest. It's a time of 3:53, not bad at all. It is a top 5 right now for Neptune, and that one looked smooth the whole way around. Neptune, by the way, has the best qualifying position out of any of the cars in the field. 4.67, the average starting spot. Right now running 5th. So right around that area as Spitzer comes up. And Spitzer comes across the line with a time of 3.9. Right there, got real sideways, and that really slows down any momentum. Only Bloodstorm has run a slower lap out of the cars that have finished. That was a 4.1. Here's Lemon Drizel. Let's see what Lemon Drizel does. Point standings leader. But the focus has gone away from Lemon Drizel and onto the other cars from this team. Going to come across the line. Time will be slower. It is 3.91. So Drizel runs 1/100th of a second slower than Spitzer. But ultimately, you got to like what you're seeing, I would think, if you are Red Pandas Racing. And finally, here is the 26. And the time looked like it was a pretty fast one. Yep, Streamer's going to run a 3:34. A top 4 for our defending race winner, who won the pole, won from the pole, and was dominant. 4th fastest time from our first line as you have a look at the overview. Woodpecker and Earl from Red Pandas Racing. They are 1 and 2 after the first round. Very nicely done. And 5 cars unable to finish a lap, as we'll go again with Woodpecker. Let's see how this one goes. A little bit more wild on that. And it's a time of 3:37. Which is still a pretty fast time. They've really worked on that car. You can see the 43 looks entirely different too. Got a different paint scheme on that car. Average time is a 3:24. Obviously, that's at the top of the leaderboard right now. Here is the 89 of Steve. And Steve comes across the line with a time of 3.2, so a faster time on this lap, an average time of 3.54, and that will put him second after he ran a 3.88 the first time. 6.15 is the time given to all the cars that didn't qualify. That includes this one right here. Whoa, Murakami nearly didn't finish. 3.72 on the time. Average that out with the 6.15, and you got a 4.94. Oh, man, that was close. The 4 nearly unable to finish either lap. That'll bring up Jack Tato, also a 6.15 after failing to qualify on the first lap. Gets through this one with a much faster time, a 3.72, or 3.43, excuse me. And a 4.79 average time. That'll lock in Woodpecker and Steve. Jack Tato and Murakami currently on the bubble and in danger of not qualifying. Here is Mozilla. And Mozilla does not finish this lap. And that could cause some problems. That time will be right now a 5.58, but it could get worse. Across the line, the 16 of Nugget. A 3.58. It's an average time of 4.87, which is not enough to lock them in right now. So Jack Tato is in. Mozilla not locked in because of that fact that they didn't qualify this lap. Just Marvin with a wild ride again, but going to get through. Marvin with an average time of 3.73, currently third fastest. So if Mozilla, if anybody runs a slower lap than what we've seen right now, Mozilla's time is going to continue to get lower and lower as Prime runs a 3.56, going to lock themselves in with a 4.86 average time. Right now, Nugget with a 4.87 and Murakami a 4.94. They are out right now. Here's the 33 of Earl, ran the second fastest time on our first lap, and they run a good time here. That's a 3.41, which is the second fastest time we've seen so far in this second round. Averages out at a 3.31, and once again, back to the top of the leaderboard are the 43 and the 33. Here's Electro. And Electro coming across the line backwards. And a time of 3.67. Average time of 3.68. Pretty even there for the 93. They're locked in. And Nugget and Murakami continue to fall lower and lower on this list. Here is Sal. And Sal with a nice run. That was the second fastest time we've seen from this lap. A 3.26, an average of 3.34. Sal moves to third on the leaderboard, and that brings up Bloodstorm, who ran the slowest lap. Ooh, uh-oh, that's not good, and it is not going to be a finish for Bloodstorm. Bloodstorm will drop to the bottom just ahead of Murakami and underneath that line by 1/100th of a second. Here is Quillo, and Quillo will come across with a time that's not going to be fast enough. Wow. Quillo ran the slowest lap out of those who did not qualify the first lap. Quillo is now in last and in real trouble since everybody else has already finished one of the laps. The 17 is going to come across the line backwards, and Confetti is right now in fifth. Locked in. Bloodstorm is most likely in. Murakami and Quillo in danger. Quillo in a lot of trouble running in last right now as Winks gets through. That's going to eliminate another spot. Winks with an average time of 3.55. Here's the 48. And an even run right there for Oak. 3.52 averages of 3.56, and they're really close right there. You've got Steve, Confetti, Winks, and Oak that are all within 0.02 of a second of each other on their average qualifying time. Here's the 11 of Neptune, as we said, just under 5th place. So just better than that. The average starting position for the 11 will be a little lower than that today. Right now in 8th in the qualifying standings. There's only 3 cars left, and Quillo is in a whole lot of trouble because there was a really fast one that's in there in Streamer, so you can't count on getting anything from them. Spitzer's going to have a nice run. Spitzer runs a 3.37, and now Quillo and Murakami are really on the line. Big trouble for the 4 and the 9. Here's the 3 of Lemon Drizel. Drizel is going to get across the line. That's going to eliminate Quillo. A middle-of-the-line run for Lemon Drizel here after a win and a runner-up as the point standings leader. Quillo will not qualify, and it'll come down to Murakami or Streamer. Streamer had a really fast time. I don't even think it's possible, if Streamer doesn't finish this, that they wouldn't be in. It's not going to matter. Across the line, Streamer will vault up to 4th fastest on the average time, and that will eliminate Murakami. So the 4 of Murakami, the 9 of Quillo fail to qualify for the Misfortune 400. Woodpecker on the pole. His teammate from Red Pandas Racing, Earl, will start 2nd. Sal is 3rd, Streamer 4th, and Steve 5th. Then Confetti, Winks, Oak, Neptune, and Spitzer the top 10. Electro, Lemon Drizel, and Jeff Marbin. As you see, those who failed to qualify, Murakami did not finish the inside line. Neither did Quillo. They ran a 3.72 and 3.75 respectively from the outside line. Those times not fast enough to qualify. And then our fastest laps overall, the pole position, 3 championship points to Woodpecker. They also ran the fastest inside line, so you can add another point there, a 3.1, which was the fastest overall lap. And you can add 1 lap or 1 championship point to Steve, ran the fastest outside line lap. Group 1, Woodpecker, Neptune, and Bloodstorm. Earl, Spitzer, and Nugget in Group 2. Sal, Oak, and Prime will run Group 3. Group 4, Streamer, Electro, and Jack Tato. Steve, Lemon Drizel, and Mozilla. What a group in Group 5. And Group 6 is Confetti, Winks, and Jeff Marbin. So the field is set for the Misfortune 400 at Mayhem Super Speedway. It should be a wild one, as evidenced here by our qualifying session. You never know what's going to happen when Mayhem is involved. And so we'll see you for our 4th race of the season, the Misfortune 400, coming up on MSPN. I'm Ricochet, and thanks for watching. Woodpecker's first pole of the season is a good sign for Red Pandas Racing, but it's a long road before they can get him into the playoffs, as he is the only driver without a heat win. He'll try to change that, as he is our number 1 seed, as MSPN's continuing coverage of NASMARB brings us to the Misfortune 400 here at Mayhem Super Speedway. I'm Ricochet, glad to be here with you, and you can see there was a considerable effort put in by Red Pandas Racing to get Woodpecker and Earl into the playoffs, and so far so good, as Red Pandas Racing qualifies 1 and 2 with a 43 and the 33. They're the first team in the history of NASMARB to go 1-2 in a qualifying session. However, that doesn't mean anything if you don't go through the first round. And on this first run, it's going to be Neptune instead in the 11. Advancing, the 43 of Woodpecker might be the 1 seed, but he fails to finish that lap, flipping on his hood. As we'll look at the replay, and you can see here, looks like Neptune was actually the slowest marble, or the slowest car to begin with. The contact between the 86 and the 43, slipping through some nice wheelmanship there by Neptune to advance into the next round. And now it's 1-on-1 with Woodpecker and Bloodstorm, who's qualified in 18th in the last 2 races, and he won't finish any better here, as Woodpecker will survive and advance, and for the first time past that first round for Woodpecker, becoming the last driver to win a heat, which means now all 20 drivers in the field have advanced and won a heat at least once this year. Granted, we're now 4 races into the season, so certainly not the distinction of being the last driver to do so is what Woodpecker wanted, but that's a start. And here is the second part of that 1-2 punch for Red Pandas Racing. It's the 33 of Earl, Spitzer, and Nugget. They're all going to face off here, and Earl has the lead. Earl's going to get an easy win, as Spitzer, I believe, fell off the course. And yes, down on his hood, off the course for the 25. So Earl advances with what looked to be a pretty easy win. And yeah, just got turned by the 16, did Spitzer. Nugget will finish the race a distant second, and Spitzer will have to reset, take that out of his mind, and go one-on-one with Nugget for the final spot. Spitzer's got a big lead. Spitzer makes a mistake, flips, and Nugget's going to advance. Oh, wow. Some driver error there by the 25. Nugget advances, and Spitzer is out in the first round. Wow, that is certainly a disappointing finish for Spitzer, who clearly had more speed than Nugget, who barely finished the course without any issues. But nonetheless, it is Nugget who advances as Sal, Oak, and Prime will now face off. Prime's looking to get back on track. Finished 12th or worse in the last two races. After winning the first one, they'll win the heat here. Sal ends up upside down. So Prime advances, winning that first heat. And now Oak, who really has to just be almost flawless from this point after missing the first two races. Whoa, look at that. Oak nearly came off the course. Looked like the wheels were up on the edge. Made a nice play, though, to get back on the course. And now force a one-on-one with Sal. A little bit of an issue coming out of the gate for Sal, who flips in front and then ends up upside down. Neither car is going to get through the final turn, and we'll have to go again. Have a look at this. Oh, wow. A ton of contact with the course causing most of the issue there, which has been an issue here at the Mayhem Super Speedway. Certainly a calling card of this course is that it is extremely difficult and grueling on these drivers. That proves to be the case here. Contact again. Oak's going to get the win, and again, upside down goes Sal, who ran 3 laps and not only cannot finish one of them, but can't even stay on the wheels the entire time. Oak advances as you have a look at the replay. And once again, problems for the two. And Sal continues to struggle just a bit as we move to Group 4. This is Streamer, who won last week. Electro in the 93, the 12 of Jack Tato. And Jack Tato gets off to a good start, but flips, and the 26 going to go by. The 93 will finish off the course and nearly onto some hard concrete there for Jack Tato. Streamer's going to get the win. We'll slow it down and show it to you again. Almost looks like you don't want to be the car with that large amount of speed and open space. You kind of want to have a buffer of another car to go up against. That allowed the 26 and 93 teammates, by the way, to advance or to finish the course, and we'll see if they can both advance. The answer is going to be yes. The 93 going to easily win it, and Jack Tato ends up upside down again. And for the second consecutive group now, one of the drivers unable to stay on the wheels in either lap. Oh, nice move by the 93. Some smooth driving there for Electro in the Texas Rollhouse car. They're through, and we move on to Group 5, which features Steve. By the way, this could be very much so a redemption race. The two drivers, Woodpecker and Steve, who did not qualify last week, they both clinched top 5 seeds. Let's see if they both advance. The answer is going to be not quite yet, as Lemon Drizel ends up stuck only through the first turn. Mozilla gets the win with some contact there with Steve, and we'll see what happens here. Let's have a look at the replay and see what happened to Drizel. Oh, we got a big flip. Just tornadoed in the air, and then the 89 couldn't quite get around the 66, and Mozilla slowly makes his way across the line. One more look, and a huge twist in the air for Lemon Drizel. He's locked in the playoffs. He's the point standings leader, but you know he wants more. They're side by side. Drizel gets the win, and he'll advance on a great race right there. And Steve, who really needed it after not finishing or not qualifying for the last week's race, really needed to advance far into this competition. And they came side by side out of the last corner, and just some more speed in the car for the 3 allowed Lemon Drizel to get that win and advance in Group 5, which will bring us to our final group. It's Confetti, Winks, and Jeff Marbin. And they are 3 by 3 going into the first couple turns, and they'll end up 1, 2, 3. None will finish. And Coming out of that final turn, Confetti and Winks both end up upside down. Jeff Marvin right behind him crashes into the back end of Winks. They'll re-rack and go again. And again, they're close with each other. This time, everybody's going to finish, and it's going to be the 17 of Confetti who got off to a bad start to this season, trying to make a comeback, and is going to advance here out of Group 6. One-on-one now between the 13 and the 24. It's been a rough week for Flair, but they will advance Winks here as Jeff Marvin ends up upside down. Not a close race by any stretch. The 13 advances. You can see on the replay here, just never really close for Jeff Marvin. And there are the final 12. You can see Winks is the only of the Bladestar Motorsports cars, those that are driving for Flair. Only one to advance. Bloodstorm eliminated in this round. The Murakami failed to qualify. As we go into stage 2 here, it is Woodpecker and Electro, the 43 and the 93. And some contact early off the course. Goes the 43. Can Electro finish? The answer is yes. He steals a win. And a very damaging loss there for Woodpecker, as some contact got Electro loose. And then wildly flying off the course was the 43, and just enough momentum and speed in the car to get the 93 across. And Electro takes a 1-0 lead here. This will be an easy win to even it up at 1 apiece for Woodpecker. Upside down, didn't matter, even if both cars had stayed fully on their tires. Just clearly more speed in the 43, at least that time around. And so it's 1-1 between the 43 and the 93. Woodpecker really needs to go far in this competition. They're going to win that heat, as Electro will not finish the course, and Woodpecker advances into the final 6. And that is a new track record, by the way. 2.96, fastest time belongs to Woodpecker. Woodpecker ran the fastest time in qualifying. Haven't seen many race laps beat out qualifying laps, but it happens right there. So Woodpecker clearly has a lot of speed here at this track. Neptune, and I believe, out of the car goes Streamer as the car breaks apart in turn 1. Let's have a look at the replay and see exactly what happened. Oh, man. I'm not even sure. Neptune takes the 1-0 advantage as Streamer comes across Sand's car. And now a big hole to climb out of. The 26 takes the early lead. The 26 going to get the win. And who? Is that Neptune this time that comes apart? It is. Both drivers now have come out of the car. How about that? And so it might come down to, in this third race, who can stay in the car and finish the entire lap. And it's going to be Streamer as Neptune comes apart again. And Neptune ends up on the ground, the top of the car and the marble itself. That was an unbelievable stretch. Let's have one more look at it. Never seen anything like that. The bottom of the car ends up through the final turn and on that final backstretch. But the top of the car, the body of the car itself, and the marble itself, Neptune, end up on the ground off the course. That was a dangerous set of races run there, as Mozilla is going to get this win here, trying to lock in the 3rd spot in our final 6 as Earl came off the course there. I'll tell you what, Mayhem Super Speedway has caused a lot of problems here for these marbles. This is a demanding race course and has caused a lot of issues. Hopefully everybody comes out of this one okay, because it has not been pretty. Going to go one more time. Earl comes off the course again. Mozilla's going to finish it slowly but steadily enough. And Mozilla advances. Earl is done. And for the third time, Mozilla is in the final 6. That's the most out of any of the drivers. The 66 car in the final 6 yet again. So another good run for Mozilla for Orange Racing. And now Lemon Drizel against Nugget. Drizel not showing as much speed as we're accustomed to. Was able to advance and is going to get around Nugget, who turned upside down, and Lemon Drizel takes a 1-0 lead. You can see right here, Drizel just said, I got to get around that car, and if he did, which he did, pretty easy path to victory there. And now only needing one more. Drizel well ahead, flips, comes back on his wheels, but slows too much. Nugget going to take the win and even us back up. Wow. Drizel went for another wild ride. He's had a few crazy ones. Credit to him for getting back on the wheels and finishing the lap. And now it's one-on-one for a spot in the final 6. That spot will go to Lemon Drizel. And Red Pandas Racing will get 2 of their 3 cars into the final 6. Earl does not advance. The one that needed it the most was Woodpecker, and he's in. And Lemon Drizel is in the final 6 for the 3rd straight time. And that is a new NASMARB record. 3 straight races in the final 6 for Lemon Drizel, who is clearly setting himself apart as a championship favorite at this point in the season. As Oak and Winks will face off. Clean race, and at the finish, it's Oak who takes the win. As we mentioned, Bladestar Motorsports struggling this week. Murakami failed to qualify. And Bloodstorm struggled as well, going out in that first round. And now Winks is going to be eliminated here. Won't make it to the final 6. Upside down. Oak is in the final 6 again. Wow, and what a comeback by the 48 team. 2nd straight time in the final 6 after failing to qualify for the first 2. Great job by the 48 team here, as Confetti and Prime will face off, and you just got to feel good for everybody at FFA Racing, ML Facts, and Marbles for Autism. They've done a great job coming back, as the 17 of Confetti is going to get the win, and another car comes apart. Luckily, Prime stays in the car itself, and it's just the bottom of the car that comes apart, but that has been a significant issue here in this round. Second round has caused a lot of problems. Confetti going to get the win easily. Ooh, he almost didn't finish. But he does finish, and again, Prime cannot keep his car together. A shocking turn of events here in this second round. Let's have one more look at it. Confetti nearly threw that win away. Right there, the car just comes apart and then completely sideways as the 17 nearly didn't finish, which would have triggered a rerun and would have been a giant missed opportunity for the 17, but that's not the case. And so it is going to, in fact, be a 3rd straight finish of 12th or worse for Prime after winning the initial race of this season. They are the standing 7th through 12th and 13th through 18th. And now we move on to the final 6. They will go 1 versus 1. The first to 3 will advance into our final 3. Lemon Drizel has been there. Mozilla's been there. Streamer's been there. Confetti and Oak were the first 2 drivers not to qualify back in our first race. They've got a chance to be in the final 3. And then, of course, there's Woodpecker. Here is Mozilla and Woodpecker. They both flip, and nobody's going to finish. We'll have to go again. Looked like just some hard racing there. And then, oh man, a missed opportunity for Woodpecker flipping at the end of that last turn. Could have had an easy win. We'll have to go again. Woodpecker takes the lead and has an easy win. Woodpecker. That looked like another fast lap. As Woodpecker in the 43 just flies through the course, flying off the course and back on to take a 1-0 lead over Mozilla in the 66. We've mentioned Mozilla has been consistent 3 times now in the final 6. Can he finish the course? The answer is yes to even it up. And a huge advantage there as Mozilla is able to steal away that win. As Woodpecker, you'll see, gets a little too wild, flies off the course, and then just barely able to creak out of that last corner and use the momentum of the downward hill toward the end of this course, that backstretch, to be able to finish the lap and even it at 1 apiece. Oh! Oh no! The 43 of Woodpecker completely out of sight. Watch it again and hope for the best. Oh my goodness, that's unbelievable. The amount of impact that Woodpecker must have taken, and again, Mozilla crawls to the finish to take the second win. You gotta find Woodpecker, and oh, what a break there for the 43. Ends up on a separate plane there instead of down all the way at the bottom of the course, and they'll take an easy win. If Woodpecker can just calm down and run smooth laps, clearly faster than Mozilla, to even it at 2 and take us to a decisive 5th heat. So winner takes all, a spot in the final 3 on the line. Some contact there. Mozilla is going to get it done. And Mozilla will advance to the final 3. It's still a good run for Woodpecker, but certainly disappointing when it seemed as though Woodpecker has the fastest and maybe the best car in the field today. Mozilla going to reach the final 3 for the second time. Did it back in race 1, finishing 3rd, and we'll look to improve upon that. And here are 2 of the heavyweights, Streamer and Lemon Drizel, the 26, sporting Pines cones this week. And Lemon Drizel in the classic yellow, brown, and white colors. And Drizel gets an easy first win. Doesn't look like either of these cars are as good as they have been in the past this week. Drizel was not good in qualifying, not great in the first round, but did better last round and is now picking it up. Seems like it might be the opposite way for Streamer, who's had a hard time keeping the car together. Upside down goes Drizel, and tying it up is the 26. Couple of heavyweight teams, Red Pandas Racing and OB Racing. A 3-car team for Red Pandas Racing. We talked a lot about them this week with Earl and Woodpecker and Lemon Drizel, of course. The 26 and the 93, as this is going to be a win for Streamer. Drizel again upside down, and Streamer takes a 2-1 lead. Streamer has been one of the best, and a quiet consistency from the 93 of Electra, the Texas Rollhouse car, the other car for OB Racing. And, uh-oh, there goes the 26, a Streamer into the final 3. Lemon Drizel will have to settle for somewhere between 4th and 6th, and it's a second consecutive final 3 for Streamer, who won last week and has a chance to go back-to-back. And now both of the remaining Red Pandas Racing cars are going to finish 4th through 6th. Let's see how close it got within a car length, but Drizel could not make a move. And now Confetti against Oak. The 17 and the 48 will face off for the final spot in the final 3. And they're side by side going into turn 1. Confetti has the advantage. Confetti takes the lead. 1-0 as the 17 got in front there. Oh, almost came off the course. Great driving to keep all of the wheels on the course. And the 17 takes the lead. They switch lanes. Contact early from the 48. The 17 going to finish. The 48 flips. And it's 2-0 Confetti. This is a second consecutive final 6 for Oak. But Oak did not make it to the final 3 last week. Finished 5th. And is in danger of having that happen again. Gonna sneak out a win and continue this one on. Forcing a 4th heat here. Looked like Confetti was in the lead for the most part and got sideways. That's what nearly cost him the win last time, was just getting completely sideways on that backstretch of the course, and there's where it happened. Can't let that happen in the final 6. The cars are going to beat you. and Oak did a good job to recognize the mistake and took advantage. And now they will go again, and Oak flips, gets back on the course, but the 17's going to finish it off. And Confetti is in the final three. What a comeback for this 17 team. First final three of the year for Confetti after failing to qualify the first week. And for a second week in a row, it's a final six appearance, but not a final three for Oak and the FFA Racing team. This is for 4th through 6th, so Oak finished 5th last time. Look to improve upon that, maybe get 4th place out of it. And then the two teammates, the 43 and the 3. And it is the 43 who's going to get the win. Lemon Drizel will take 2nd, and you can give 3rd and overall 6th place to Oak, who will drop 1 spot from last week, a 5th place finish to a 6th place finish here this week. So 4th for Woodpecker, and a really good start on that climb back toward the playoff picture. 5th place will be Lemon Drizel, and then 6th is Oak. We'll be right back with the final right after this.
Are you craving more Marvel sports? Come and join the MSW podcast on all your favorite podcasting platforms. Listen to Marvel Guy and Mr. Woff talk about all of the hottest Marvel topics. Come and explore the Marvel Sports Worldwide podcast.
All right, we are back for the finale here at the Misfortune 400 at Mayhem Super Speedway. Always glad to hear from our friends at the MSWP. Unfortunately for them, though, Quillo unable to qualify. Here are those that are in the final, though. Streamer, Confetti, and Mozilla. We might get a first-time winner. We might get our first repeat winner. Back-to-back potentially for Streamer. First to 4 is going to take home the win, and Mozilla is going to get the first one. Streamer got close at the end. They had made contact with the bumper there. Oh, the 17 got turned and got lucky to stay on the course. Let's see. Yep, they do make contact at the end, but Streamer couldn't pick the right lane to get out of the way of the 66, and so Mozilla takes a 1-0 lead. They are 3 wide. Mozilla going to take a 2-0 lead as the other two won't finish. They get stuck in the final turn, flip upside down. And Mozilla takes a commanding 2-0 lead. That is a huge advantage. Now you only need to win 2, and everybody else needs to win 4. Let's see what happens here. Mozilla again in the lead. Mozilla is going to get that win. And a chance for a clean sweep. This one got pretty close here at the end. Let's have a look. It looked like a little bit of a shove from the 26. Nearly got Confetti a victory. But now Mozilla 1 win away from a sweep. And a first career win for the 66. And for Orange Racing, he flips. Confetti will get the win and keep this championship round alive. So not quite to be. As the 17, wow, a lot of contact as the 66 kept getting flipped by the 17. It looked like Confetti just kept turning. Mozilla, nothing you can do though, you're in a bad spot. As now, it's going to be a win for Streamer, who will get in on the action. Just pulled it out at the end. A lot of contact. And it just got away from the 17 and had enough speed to make the pass at the very end of the course. So it's 3-1-1. And now it is Confetti that's going to get the win. 3-2-1. Mozilla has now lost 3 in a row after winning the first 3. Streamer's going to get off the course right there. Looked like it may have been helped by the 17 a little bit. All is fair in love and war, is what they say. That might just be war. Mozilla being pushed out of the way again, and now Confetti gets the win. Back up to 3. And if Mozilla or Confetti win this next one, they're the winners. Confetti storming back, taking the pass on the backstretch away from Streamer, and putting himself in a spot where now the 17 and the 66 both control their own destiny. Streamer has to win the next 3 to win this thing. The 17 and the 66 both fighting for their first career wins and a spot in the playoffs. Streamer has other ideas, and Streamer's going to keep it alive. What a final we have here. It has been a wild race here, the Misfortune 400 at the wildest course on the circuit. Mayhem Super Speedway has certainly proved that they are that, and they are really living up to the bill here in the finale. 3-3-2. Streamer has to win to force a winner-take-all. He is going to do just that. And it will come down to the final heat. That is 6 heats in a row that Mozilla has lost now. After winning the first 3, 2 heats in a row won by Streamer. Who's going to pick up the win ultimately? Here we go. They are off and into turn 1. Streamer's got the lead. Streamer has the advantage, and Streamer's going to win it. Pushed to the finish by Confetti, and fittingly enough, Mozilla ends up upside down and in despair after blowing a 3-0-0 lead. Back-to-back wins for Streamer, the first driver to win multiple races, and does it in unbelievable comeback fashion. Dominant last time, not so much this time, but a great job by the 26 team, and now this final race will be Mozilla and Confetti. They'll go for second. Loser will take third. Absolutely devastating for Mozilla. Got to the final 3 in the first race of the year and finished third. Gets to the final 3 here and will finish second, but will lose the final 7 heats. After taking a 3-0-0 lead, it'll go down as one of the biggest blown leads in the history of marble sports, as that is an unbelievable loss and certainly extremely devastating and something that's really going to hurt the morale for that team. As Streamer gets the win, Mozilla will take second, Confetti third, Woodpecker, Lemon Drizel, and Oak were the top 6. As you see on all the way back through Murakami and Quillo, who failed to qualify. Here are the updated championship standings. A 3-point lead now for Lemon Drizel. He holds on to the lead, but Streamer closes it in to within 3. They are locked in, as well as Prime, who's dropped to 7th in the standings points-wise, but is automatically locked into the championship after winning the opening race of the year. You have Mozilla in 3rd, Winx is 4th, Spitzer is 5th, Neptune 6th. 7th is Prime, who we said is already locked in. Electro runs 8th, and Quillo is 9th. They're all double digits ahead of the cut line. Confetti is in the playoffs right now, +6 in 10th, +5 for both Bloodstorm and Nugget. They are tied for 11th and 12th. Steve is the first below the cut line, 5 points to the red there, running in 13th. 6 points back are both Earl and Oak. Great job, by the way, by Oak to really come back after the first 2 really bad races, now running in 15th out of 20. Earl is in 14th, 12 points back, but a much better run for Woodpecker in 16th now. Jack Tato, Sal, Jeff Marbin has dropped all the way to 19th, and Murakami is currently now your bottom seller occupier on the point standings, 28 points behind 12th place, really in a spot where you need a win now. If you're any of those drivers towards the bottom, I would say honestly, probably Jack Tato, Sal, Jeff Marbin, and Murakami all in a spot where they need a win. Plenty of more races still to come, so plenty of opportunities for those drivers who need wins to get wins and those drivers who need points to pick up points. But until then, you've been watching NASMARB on MSPN. I'm Rick O'Shea, and thanks for watching.